When the mind won't stop. 3 hours of Zen Buddhism to ease racing thoughts. When the mind won't stop. We don't fight it, we sit with it. In this session, inspired by Zen practice, we'll breathe, soften, and let thoughts pass like clouds across a wide open sky. Move at your own pace. If you drift, simply notice, smile, and begin again. One breath, then the next. Bell ring softly. Let it fade. Let the sound arrive before you try to arrive. Feel it travelling through the room, through the air, through the space around your body. Nothing to do, nothing to manage. Just notice how the mind wants to reach for the next thing. Let the bell be the only next thing. Let it thin out into silence. As the last thread of sound dissolves, allow your shoulders to drop 1 millimeter. That is enough. Choose your seat, a cushion, a bench, a chair. If you're on a chair, place both feet flat on the ground and let the toes rest, not gripping. If you're on a cushion, cross the legs in a way that feels stable and kind. Wherever you are, tilt the pelvis slightly forward so the belly can breathe freely. Sit tall, like a quiet mountain that has no ambition to be taller than it is. Let the spine find its natural curve. Imagine it lengthening with no effort, as if a gentle string were lifting the crown of the head from above. The chin is slightly tucked, not rigid, just enough to soften the back of the neck. Let the face be friendly. Let the mouth be closed or slightly parted. Place the tongue on the roof of the mouth behind the teeth and let it rest. Let the jaw unhook. Let the eyes be gently closed or half open with a soft, unforced gaze somewhere on the floor in front of you. Hands can rest on the thighs or in the lap, one palm in the other, thumbs meeting lightly. Feel the hands as if they are being held by the lap, not held up by you. Take a breath that is a little deeper and slower than usual. Then let the next breath be completely ordinary. Allow the body to breathe you. Notice the air at the nostrils, cool as it enters, a touch warmer as it leaves. Notice the chest and belly rise and fall. Notice the subtle rock of the body as it responds to the breath, like a boat rising and settling on a calm harbour. You don't need to make it calmer. The harbour becomes calm as you stop stirring it. We are just arriving, not making progress. Arriving. If a thought runs in, that's okay. Thoughts are like birds that do what birds do, arrive, circle and fly on. They don't need a cage or a lecture. Let the mind be as it is, and offer your attention a simple home. The feeling of sitting and breathing here. Sense the points of contact between the body and what supports you. The sitting bones on the cushion or chair, the thighs, perhaps the feet on the ground. Let those points widen and grow heavier by 1%, then by another 1%. Enough to feel held, enough to let the weight sink down into the earth. Nothing in you needs to hold you up by force. The earth is very good at holding. Now travel with attention through the body slowly, patiently, like light that lingers. Begin at the crown of the head, soften the scalp, smooth the forehead from the inside. Let the space between the eyebrows loosen. Eyes nestle deeper into their sockets, not pushing forward, not retreating, just resting. Cheeks slacken. Sinuses open as much as they care to. The jaw unhooks another millimeter. Let the lower teeth hang away from the upper teeth. Lips rest. The tongue is not working. Feel its weight. Let the throat be open as a quiet hallway. The back of the neck widens. Shoulders melt away from the ears. Notice how many times, without knowing, we try to wear our shoulders as earrings. Put them down and let the arms dangle in their sockets, warm, heavy, kind. Let the chest be as it is. If there is tightness, don't pry at it. Place a hand there if that helps, and breathe underneath the tight place, as if you were giving it a little hammock to rock in. Let the belly be soft. If it wants to move with the breath, let it. If it wants to be still, let it. Imagine the belly as a bowl that someone has just set down. Some tiny ripples move across and then settle on their own. Move attention to the back body. Feel the ribs expand gently in all directions. Feel the spine like a line of small lamps, each one bright enough to see the next. No adjusting, no correcting, just seeing. In the lower back, let warmth spread. In the pelvis, a sense of space. Hips heavy, thighs release, knees soft, not locked in any idea of how they should be. Calves and shins at rest, ankles loose, feet broad. Feel heel, ball and toes as if each were a little island of contact. Let the toes soften, especially the big toes. They're often trying to help with things they don't need to help with. Give them a holiday. Take another natural breath and quietly notice. Are you here a little more than before? Arriving is not a one-time event. It happens in small waves. Ride one, let it bring you ashore, then another. Bell 2 rings softly, let it fade. Let this second bell be your reminder to lower the volume on striving. If a part of you is trying to do this right, bow to that part. It only wants peace. Assure it that peace does not come from forcing the door. It opens when you lean gently against it, and then stop leaning. As the bell thins into the room, let the breath lengthen by a hair on the exhale. Not a technique to master, just a kindness to the nervous system. Imagine exhaling down through the spine into the seat, like pouring warm tea into a cup that never overflows. Inhale rises up naturally. Exhale returns you to the ground. Listen to the room. There may be faint sounds, distant traffic, a hum, the invisible thread of silence that ties everything together. Do not reach for them or push them away. Let hearing be hearing. If a sound stirs a thought, memory, future planning, opinion, notice that too and let it be part of the same field. You don't have to stop anything from happening. You just don't have to ride off with it. Sit like a tree that notices the wind without chasing it. Now, let us make a very small promise to this moment. For the length of one breath, we will be nowhere else. Breathe in, aware you are breathing in. Breathe out, aware you are breathing out. That's the promise. If you kept it for half a breath, that counts. If you forgot halfway through, the remembering is the practice. Begin again. Always. Begin again. Let the skin feel the air. Let the clothes feel gentler than they felt a minute ago. Let the temperature be exactly what it is. If the body asks to make a tiny adjustment, make it slowly, as if you are moving underwater with care and only as much as you need. Then grow still again. This is not the stillness of a statue or the stiffness of a soldier. This is the stillness of a lake that is allowed to breathe, barely, quietly, because everything alive breathes. Notice the mind's habits the way you might notice weather. Maybe it rushes, maybe it analyzes, maybe it tells you how long this should take. Greet each habit with a nod. You do not need to put them outside. Let them sit in the back row and get bored while you watch something simpler. The breath, the uprightness of the spine, the giving of the ground, the light on your closed eyelids, the space around your shoulders, the soft weight of your hands. This simplicity is not small, it is spacious, like a room with the windows open. As the breath comes and goes, imagine there is a small gate just at the rim of the nostrils. The air passes through it, like a gentle visitor who knows the house well. You do not need to greet them with words. Your presence is the greeting. After several ordinary breaths, you may feel the mind settle a little more, like dust that falls when the air goes still. You didn't make the dust fall by pushing on it. You let it fall by ceasing to stir it. If you like, let a wordless intention rest in the chest. Here. Not be here, that can feel like a command. Just here, the way a compass points north without arguing. Each time you notice you've wandered, touch that intention again, lightly, and return to the feeling of the body breathing. The return is the whole path. The return is already enough. Take your time to notice the little places that are softening. The crease at the base of the thumbs, the small muscles between the shoulder blades, the place where the big toe meets the foot, the skin over the cheekbones. The body knows how to let go when you stop insisting it must. Offer yourself the tiniest permission. You may rest now. If an emotion rises, unease, impatience, tenderness, let it be included. The mind that races is usually trying to keep you safe, to prepare you for a future it cannot control. Thank it silently. Let it put its toolkit down. Show it how the breath keeps arriving without its help. Show it how the chair holds you, without a plan. There is a bigger safety available here, the safety of this moment being exactly as it is, with you inside it. Breathe with the back of the body for a few moments, as if the inhale widens the shoulder blades and the exhale lets them slide down the ribs. Then breathe with the front of the body, feeling the heart area receive the breath like a quiet guest room receiving morning light. Then breathe with the whole body, all at once, as if every cell were practicing how to let in and let go. Let time be elastic. There's nowhere else you need to be while you are being here. Even if another part of life is calling, you can answer by being fully present now. Presence is what the future was asking for. For a few breaths, slightly lengthen the exhale. Perhaps the inhale counts itself to 4 without you forcing it, and the exhale drifts to 5. Perhaps not. No need to keep numbers. Just sense that the out-breath is where the body learns to soften and trust. Each out-breath is a tiny bow, not to anyone, not to anything, just a bow to reality as it is. Feel again the posture, rooted below, light above, strong enough to carry you, gentle enough to soothe you. If the mind comments, "Am I doing this right?" let the comment drift by like a subtitle you don't have to read. Your body knows the way home. Before the final bell, let us quietly reaffirm our simple orientation. We're not trying to perfect the moment. We're letting the moment perfect us. Perfection here means only complete as it is. Breath in, breath out, complete as it is. Bell 3 rings softly. Let it fade. Let the last bell rinse through the whole body. Feel it touch the skin, the chest, the belly, the hands, the feet. Feel it echo in the space behind you and in the space in front of you, above and below. While it fades, imagine the breath and the bell are friends. When the sound is gone, the friendship remains. Let your inhale arrive like the first light of dawn. Let your exhale settle like evening. Quietly affirm without words if you like, here. Now continue sitting just as you are, no rush to move, so the arrival can deepen on its own. If you blink, blink slowly. If you swallow, swallow with awareness. If you breathe, breathe as if you are learning how for the very first time. If the mind starts again, and it will, smile inwardly and let it be a cue to arrive again. The path is circular and kind, sound, breath, body, space. Each breath is a doorway, and you're always already standing in it. Begin by choosing the support that feels kind to your body today. A cushion on the floor can be round and firm, a folded blanket can work in a pinch. A meditation bench allows kneeling with the shins down and the seat supporting the sit bones. A chair is perfectly fine. Dignity and ease do not depend on altitude. Whatever you choose, aim for a seat height that lets your pelvis tilt slightly forward so the belly can move easily with the breath. If you sit on the floor, place a cushion under the back half of the pelvis so the knees can rest a little lower than the hips. This alone frees the lower back. If on a chair, sit toward the front edge, both feet flat, hip width apart, knees tracking over the center of each foot. You're building a base that says to the body you are held. Let the lower body settle first. If you're crossing the legs, allow a simple, merciful arrangement. One shin in front of the other, Burmese style, rather than stacked high. If your knees hover, slide blocks, cushions, or folded towels beneath them until each knee can rest without effort. In kneeling, place a soft pad under the shins and a bench or cushion, so the weight is on the sight bones rather than the kneecaps. In a chair, plant your feet so you can press lightly into the ground without tensing the toes. Let the ankles be under the knees under the thighs, and the thighs supported by the chair without cutting off circulation. If you notice the toes gripping the floor, invite them to release, especially the big toes. They are often working overtime. Now feel the sit bones. Imagine them as two small, steady stones at the base of a living structure. Gently tilt the pelvis forward and back a few millimeters to sense where the spine feels naturally long. You might rock very slightly, forward, back, left, right, in ever smaller circles, like a coin settling on a table, until you discover a point of effortless balance. At that point, the belly can breathe, the back can lengthen, and the front can soften. Let the weight sink down through the seat into the ground. Let the upward rebound from the ground travel up the spine, downward through the bones, upward through the breath, two quiet rivers meeting. Allow the spine to rise without strain. Think of stacked coins, each vertebra balancing the one above. No forcing, no stiffening. If it helps, imagine a thread lifting the crown of your head. The lift is gentle, just enough to awaken the back body. Feel the natural curves, the low back not flattened, the mid-back open, the upper back broad. If you tend to collapse, bring a hint more lift behind the heart. If you tend to overarch, let the front ribs settle back into alignment with the pelvis. Dignity doesn't need drama, it needs clarity. Let the chest be easy and spacious. The breath can move in all directions, forward, back, sideways, up and down, without you managing it. The belly is soft enough to receive the inhale and return on the exhale like a small tide. Many Zen teachers point to the lower belly, the hara, as the quiet center of attention. You don't have to look for it. Allow awareness to rest there, a few fingers below the navel and a little inward, as if your breath knows the way. Place the hands where they can rest without asking the shoulders to hold them up. In the lap you might shape a simple oval, left palm cradling right, or the other way if that feels more natural, thumbs touching, lightly, just enough to feel life pulsing there. Let the base of this oval rest against the lower belly. If you prefer, rest the hands on the thighs, palms down for groundedness or palms up for receptivity. Whatever you choose, feel the warmth of your hands and the sense that they are being held by your lap, not held up by effort. If the thumbs are touching, notice when they press or collapse. Meet in the middle, alive but unforced. Release the shoulders down and away from the ears, as if you're taking off a heavy invisible backpack. Broaden the collarbones, soften the space between the shoulder blades. Let the arms hang naturally from the sockets, elbows a little away from the ribs, not pinned, not floating. Check the small muscles that often clutch, the tops of the shoulders, the side of the neck, the base of the skull. Offer each place one long exhale. Imagine those areas exhaling too. Align the head with the spine, ears over shoulders, nose over navel. Tuck the chin a whisper so the back of the neck lengthens and the throat stays open. The jaw unhooks, upper and lower teeth not clenched, not even touching if that's comfortable. Rest the tongue gently against the roof of the mouth, just behind the upper front teeth. This quiets excess saliva and softens the throat. Let your face be friendly. Smooth the forehead from the inside. A calm face helps the nervous system understand that it is safe to rest. Let the eyes be easy. You can close them softly or keep them half open with a relaxed gaze toward the floor about a meter in front of you. Half open can help the mind stay bright and awake. Closed can help you settle if you feel agitated. If you notice drowsiness, allow a little more light in by opening the eyes slightly. If you notice agitation, soften the gaze or close the eyes. Either way, you're seeing without searching. Do a slow scan for extra effort. Imagine a dimmer switch for tension and turn it down 5%, then another 5. You don't need to drop into a heap. You're simply removing the polish of strain from an already sound structure. Check the frown between the eyebrows, the pinch at the wings of the nose, the crease where the thumb meets the palm, the small muscles around the ankles. These places can relax without the posture collapsing. Now breathe naturally and see how the posture and breath support each other. On the inhale, the torso subtly lengthens. On the exhale, the body settles a little deeper into the seat. Let the exhale be slightly longer, not by counting but by interest, like a sigh that doesn't need to be heard. Feel the breath gathering in the lower belly, then dispersing like warmth through the hips and legs. If thoughts rush in, let posture be your anchor. Sit bones grounded, spine awake, hands resting, face soft, gaze kind. Returning to posture is a complete practice. If discomfort appears, meet it with curiosity and kindness. There is pain that asks for attention, and there is sensation that grows loud when we resist. First, soften around the sensation. Give it a little space. Let the breath reach the edges of it. If it stays sharp, tingling, or pulls at your joints, adjust. Subtly first. Uncross and recross the legs lower, tuck a bit more cushion under the hips. Support a knee, widen your stance, roll the shoulders, tilt the pelvis a millimeter forward or back. If numbness sets in, release the position for a moment and re-establish it with more support. Compassion for the body is not a detour, it is the path. If you're sitting in a chair and the lower back tires, place a folded towel at the back of the seat to create a small wedge, or slide a cushion under the sit bones to elevate the hips slightly above the knees. If your head drifts forward, imagine the back of the skull gently gliding up and back, as if making room behind the heart. If your shoulders creep up, exhale, and feel the shoulder blades melt down along the ribs. If your chest caves in, imagine a soft light between the collarbones, not pushing outward, simply reminding the front body to stay open. Clothing and temperature matter more than we admit. If you're cool, drape a shawl or light blanket around the shoulders. A warm back relaxes a tense neck. If you're warm, loosen anything tight at the waist or around the throat. Arrange what you're wearing so nothing digs, scratches, or insists on attention. Comfort is not the enemy of discipline. Comfort is the soil in which discipline can grow. When you feel steady, invite a tiny smile, not for performance, just to undo the habit of bracing. The whole posture can have the flavour of yes. Yes to being here. Yes to this breath. Yes to this body as it is today. See if you can allow the posture to hold the mind the way a cup holds water. You don't have to grasp the water. The cup does that for you. A brief centering ritual can help. Roll the shoulders forward, up, back, and down once or twice, slowly. Rock the spine a few millimeters front to back until you sense vertical. Let the head float, balanced. Raise the shoulders up with an inhale, then let them drop with a heavy exhale. Place the hands again, feeling their weight. Set the gaze. Arrive. If sleepiness visits, brighten the posture from the ground up. Press the feet gently into the floor or feel the knees widening into their supports. Lift the breastbone a thread's breadth. Let more light in through the eyelids. Invite the inhale a little fuller toward the lower ribs. If agitation visits, emphasize the exhale and the downward flow. Seat heavy, jaw soft, eyes softer, breath lengthening out. Notice how posture tunes awareness. Too slack, and the mind drifts. Too rigid, and the mind fights. Ease sits in the middle. This middle is not a razor's edge. It is a broad and forgiving field. You find it by feeling, not by measuring. Over and over, micro-adjust and return, like a craftsman whose hands know when the tool is aligned. Each small return is a bow to yourself. If you plan to sit for a long time, give yourself permissions in advance. You may make 1 or 2 very small adjustments when needed, executed slowly, like moving in water. You may recross the legs halfway through. You may place a cushion under a knee. You may shift from cushion to bench, or from bench to chair, kindly, if the body asks for it. The promise is not to freeze. The promise is to stay present. Let posture become simple. Sit bones grounded, spine lifted, belly soft, heart open, shoulders relaxed, hands quiet, neck long, jaw unhooked, tongue resting, eyes easy, breath natural, hara steady. If you get lost in details, return to one image, a mountain meeting the sky. The mountain doesn't push up, it simply is. The sky doesn't press down, it allows. Your posture is the meeting of these two. For a minute, feel the subtle aliveness everywhere without changing anything. The hum in the palms, the warmth behind the knees, the delicate movement of the skin with each breath, the barely there sway of the spine. This is the posture breathing. You're not doing the posture, you're letting posture do you. When thoughts comment, too slouched, too stiff, too much, not enough, label the commentary kindly as thinking and return to the felt sense. You're not sculpting a statue. You're learning the art of being upright and at ease in the same breath. Upright, so the mind stays bright. At ease, so the heart can open. If you can feel both qualities at once, even for a few seconds, that is the posture of practice. Finally, let the posture fade into transparency. It remains steady and supportive while your attention opens to breath, sound, and space. If ever the mind begins to spin, come back to the simple map your body offers: seat, spine, hands, face, gaze, breath. 1 point, then 2, then 3, until the whirling slows on its own. The posture is your quiet friend. Sit with it, and it will sit with you. Let the body be as you've arranged it, grounded below, light above. Allow one ordinary breath to pass without trying to help it. Then another. We will give the mind something simple and kind to do. Count the breath. Not to win, not to achieve, but to give the racing thoughts a soft handrail. On the next exhale, let a quiet 1 form in the mind. Keep it small, like a note you tuck into your pocket. Inhale naturally. On the following exhale, 2. Continue like this, counting only on the out-breath, up to 10. If you reach 10, begin again at 1. If you lose track, that's not a mistake. It's the bell that says, begin again. You're not behind. You're exactly where practice happens, right at the return. Let's begin together, slow and easy. Exhale, 1. Inhale, simple. Exhale, 2. Inhale, the body breathes you. Exhale, 3. Inhale, nothing to fix. Exhale, 4. Inhale, friendly. Exhale, 5. Inhale, soft belly. Exhale, 6. Inhale, space around the eyes. Exhale, 7. Inhale, shoulders melt. Exhale, 8. Inhale, steady spine. Exhale, 9. Inhale, natural. Exhale, 10. Let the count fall away. Pause for one breath with no number, and begin again. Keep the numbers quiet and light, no bold fonts in the mind. If the voice of the number gets loud, let it fade to a whisper. If even a whisper feels too pushy, let the number be felt rather than spoken. A gentle dot at the bottom of each exhale, the way a sentence ends. The breath writes itself. The dot appears. The breath begins another line. You may notice the mind wanting to speed the breathing to reach the next number. Smile at that habit and keep the breath ordinary. We're not counting to get somewhere. We're counting to be here. Let the breath decide its own length. If the exhale wants to be a hair longer, allow it. That lengthening is not an order, it's a kindness. As attention steadies, you can anchor the counting in sensation so the numbers don't float away on their own. At the nostrils, feel the air cooler as it comes in, slightly warmer as it goes out. Place the number at the moment the warmth turns to nothing. 1. Let the next exhale meet the same doorway. 2. Or rest the attention in the lower belly, the hara, and let the number appear at the soft settling of the belly wall at the end of each out-breath. If the belly doesn't move much, feel the gentle closing of the throat at the end of the exhale. The number lands right there like a feather. Sometimes, instead of counting only on the exhale, you might count both parts of the breath. 1 for the inhale, 2 for the exhale, 3 for the next inhale, and so on. If you do this, you'll reach 10 faster, no need to rush. Today we'll stay with counting the exhale. It's simple, and it soothes the body. Thoughts will arrive, they always do. When a thought takes you, you may suddenly notice you're on 32, or you may not remember which number came last. Perfect. Let that noticing be like the bell and temple gate. Bow to it. Return to 1 with no commentary, as if you were setting a small teacup back on its saucer. The gentleness of your return teaches the mind more than any long streak of perfect counting. If sleepiness comes, brighten the count. Sit a little taller, let a thread lift the crown of the head and make the number slightly clearer at the end of the exhale, like a small bell in a quiet room. You can open the eyes a touch more, let in a little light, and keep the count crisp. 1, 2, 3, not loud, just distinct. If agitation comes, racing thoughts, restless body, soften the number until it's almost texture rather than word. Make the exhale a fraction longer, like a sigh the world can't hear, and let the number be the tiniest punctuation. 1, 2, 3, clouds drifting past a wide sky. Let's walk through several rounds slowly with different places of attention so the mind has something to lean on. First, the nostrils. Feel the touch of air, right at the rims of the nostrils. Exhale, 1, inhale, feel the coolness. Exhale, 2, inhale, the air turns at the top without you helping it. Exhale, 3, inhale, subtle. Exhale, 4, inhale, simple. Exhale, 5, inhale, receive. Exhale, 6, inhale, unforced. Exhale, 7, inhale, the shoulders do nothing. Exhale, 8, inhale, still simple. Exhale, 9, inhale, a thread of quiet. Exhale, 10, rest one breath without counting. Now the belly. Let the lower belly be soft like warm dough rising and settling. Exhale, feel the slight drawing in. 1, inhale, the belly opens a little. Exhale, 2, inhale, kind. Exhale, 3, inhale, the body moves itself. Exhale, 4, inhale, space. Exhale, 5, inhale, ground. Exhale, 6, inhale, gentle. Exhale, 7, inhale, ease. Exhale, 8, inhale, present. Exhale, 9, inhale, here. Exhale, 10, one breath without number. Begin again. You might prefer the chest, the widening on the inhale, the soft settling on the exhale, or the very end of the exhale where silence is easy to hear. The place doesn't matter. What matters is the attitude, patient, forgiving, curious. If the numbers grow sticky, if the mind clings to them, let them dissolve into images for a while. Imagine each number as a small ripple moving across a pond on the out-breath. 1. The ripple travels and fades. The surface grows smooth. 2. Another ripple, another fade. The pond does not rush the ripples, does not hold them, or let the numbers be stones you set down as you walk. 1. The stone touches earth. 2. Another. 3. Another. The path behind you does not need to be reviewed. The step you're taking is enough. It helps to know what to do when you meet common snags. When you reach 10 and feel a tiny surge, I did it. Notice that little spark without scolding it. It's just the mind celebrating. Smile inwardly and begin at 1. The practice lives in the beginning, not the finishing. When you keep overshooting to 12 or 15, that's fine too. Some minds love to exceed. Make the container clear. We count to 10, then back to 1. The wall of the container is soft. You bounce. You return. When you can't get past 3 because the river of thought is in flood, wonderful. This is good news. It means you can practice many beginnings. Each one is fresh. Consider staying at 1 for a while, counting 1 at the end of every exhale. 1, 1, 1. The repetition can be like rain on a roof. You don't need variety to settle. If anxiety rides the breath and the exhale feels cramped, widen the attention to include sound and contact with the seat. Let the exhale flow through the spine into the ground. Count there. 1, felt in the seat. 2, felt in the feet. If anxiety still wraps tight, place a hand lightly on the chest or belly and count into the warmth of your own hand. If you notice the numbers becoming harsh, 3, soften the edges. You can even let the numbers be half thought, like seeing the outline of a leaf rather than tracing every vein, or you can trade numbers for a pair of words for a few breaths. In-breath, calm, out-breath, ease. After a minute, return to counting, refreshed. There's an old instruction. Count from 1 to 10 7 times without losing track. It's a lovely challenge, and also optional. The point is to cultivate steadiness, not to test yourself. If you enjoy a gentle challenge, try it with kindness. If it makes you tighten, put the test down and simply count to 10, begin again. Let's explore a slow, luxurious count, as if each exhale were a stroke of a brush. Exhale, 1. Feel the last warm thread of breath leaving the nostrils. Inhale, the body refills by itself. Exhale, 2, like setting down a small cup. Inhale, a soft tide returns. Exhale, 3, let the face be friendly. Inhale, length through the back of the neck. Exhale, 4, jaw loose, tongue resting. Inhale, lower ribs awaken and settle. Exhale, 5, hands heavy and warm. Inhale, quiet lift along the spine. Exhale, 6, shoulder blades glide down. Inhale, field of sound all around, effortless hearing. Exhale, 7, count lands at the bottom like a feather. Inhale, roomy and simple. Exhale, 8, no hurry to reach the number. It arrives when the breath ends. Inhale, patience. Exhale, 9, grounded, present. Inhale, enough. Exhale, 10, let the number dissolve as soon as it appears. Inhale, rest 1 cycle without counting. If the mind wants a variety, you can count on the inhale for a while instead. Notice the coolness at the nostrils or the spreading of the ribs as you breathe in, and place the number at the top of the inhale rather than the bottom of the exhale. Then return to exhale counting. Returning itself trains the mind. Another gentle variation. Pair the number with a touch of gratitude. At the end of the exhale, 1, thank you breath. Not words necessarily, more a feeling. 2, thank you body. 3, thank you, this moment. Gratitude shifts the nervous system towards safety and sufficiency. After a few rounds, drop the gratitude labels and continue with plain counting, simplified and clear. If you wish, bring the hands into the practice without moving them. Imagine the thumbs barely meeting as if they were measuring steadiness. On each counted exhale, feel the thumbs just touching, not pressing. If they press, that's a signal to soften the effort. If they collapse, that's a nudge to wake the posture a little. The count becomes a conversation between steadiness and ease. It's common to wonder, am I suppressing thoughts? You're not. You're offering the mind a simple task that leaves less room for spirals. Thoughts can arise around the task, like birds flitting around a person walking a path. The walker keeps walking. The birds do not need to be shooed. The counting is kind because it doesn't fight the birds. It simply keeps the feet moving. Let's take a few minutes to deepen. Imagine the breath as waves arriving at a shore. Each exhale, a wave draws back and leaves the sand smooth. The number is the soft glint left behind for a heartbeat before the next wave. 1. The sand glows and settles. 2. Another glint, another settling. The shore is never finished. It is always being made. The mind, too. We'll do a quiet set of 3 full rounds. If you drift, lovely. Meet yourself at 1. If you reach 10, begin again without ceremony. Round 1, exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Rest 1 breath. Round 2, exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Rest 1 breath. Round 3, exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Rest 1 breath. If you noticed any impatience, when will this be over? Place that feeling gently on the next exhale and count it 2. 1, including impatience. If you notice pride, I kept the count. Place that 2. 2, including pride. Everything belongs. Nothing needs to drive. Sometimes the mind loves to make counting a project. I will conquer distraction. Let that posture soften. Replace conquest with companionship. You are walking with the breath the way you might walk with a child at dusk, unhurried, attentive, happy to go at the pace that allows you to notice small things, a cricket sound, a slight breeze, the way the light fades. Counting is how you keep from outpacing your companion. If strong emotion arises, you can cradle it inside the count. On this exhale, 1, and I'm allowed to feel this. The number is a container, not a lid. The breath moves, the feeling breathes with it, the body stays safe on its seat. If the emotion swells past the container, open the eyes, find a steady point in the room, feel the feet, and let the exhale lengthen slightly as you count 1 again. Nothing dramatic. You are anchoring, not drowning. Notice now how the count itself may be fading into the background as the texture of breathing becomes vivid. That is good. The tool is doing its job. You can keep the numbers as long as they serve you. If they start to feel extra, put them down for a few breaths. Sit with just breath. When the mind speeds up again, return to counting without hesitation. Tools are meant to be picked up and set down. For the next few minutes, practice micro rounds. Count to 3 and begin again, often. Exhale 1, exhale 2, exhale 3. Begin. Short rounds make it easier to stay close. After some time, lengthen to 5. Then, when it feels right, back to 10. Let the practice be responsive, like adjusting a dimmer switch to the light in the room. There is a simple secret here. The quality of your counting matters more than the quantity. A soft, forgiving 1, done with your whole presence, is more powerful than a crisp march to 10 done in tension. The mind learns safety by feeling you will not punish it for wandering. The body learns safety by feeling you will not force it to perform. As we come toward a quiet pause, take 1 round at a pace that feels like home to you. Count on the exhale. Keep the numbers small. Allow the breath to find its depth. Exhale 1. Inhale. Exhale 2. Inhale. Exhale 3. Inhale. Exhale 4. Inhale. Exhale 5. Inhale. Exhale 6. Inhale. Exhale 7. Inhale, exhale. 8. Inhale, exhale. 9. Inhale, exhale. 10. Inhale. Let the numbers fade completely for a breath or two. Feel the posture, the contact with the seat, the warmth of the hands, the steadiness that wasn't there in the same way when we began. If the mind has sped up again, that's okay. You now have a gentle handrail you can grasp at any time. 1 to 10, begin again. Carry this simplicity forward. In the day, you can count 3 breaths before opening a door, 5 breaths while waiting for a page to load, 1 to 10 when lying awake at night. The practice is portable and invisible, a small lantern you can light anywhere, and each time you forget, the moment you remember is the moment you're back. Begin again, kindly, and let the breath count you home. Settle into the posture you've already built, grounded below, light above. Let the breath be natural. For a few cycles, just receive the inhale, release the exhale. We'll add a small friendly tool to meet the mind as it is. When a thought appears, label it softly as thinking and return to the simple feel of breathing. No argument, no analysis, just a gentle tag and a homecoming. Begin by noticing how a thought announces itself. Sometimes it's obvious. Words in the head, a sentence racing in. Sometimes it's subtler. A picture, a memory, a plan, a tiny tightening in the forehead that arrives a split second before the words. Anything that pulls attention away from raw sensation counts as a thought. Even images and silent rehearsals are thoughts. When you see one, meet it with a light touch. Thinking. Let the word be neutral, like naming a cloud. Then, without finishing the story, return to the breath. Perhaps the warm edge at the nostrils or the rise and fall in the belly. Breath is home base. Keep the label small. It doesn't need to be spoken aloud in the mind with force. Imagine the word written in soft pencil, not carved in stone. If the label wants to be even lighter, it can be just the feeling of "oh" or the briefest bow. The key is tone. Polite, matter-of-fact, not scolding. The mind is not misbehaving. It is doing what minds do. You're simply learning to recognize it and to choose where to place attention. Try this for a minute. Rest with the breath. The moment a thought is noticed, any thought, important or trivial, touch it with thinking and come back. You don't need to search for thoughts. There's no hunt. Just be here and label when it's obvious. The label can match the breath. Let it land at the bottom of the exhale. Breath out. Thinking. Then let the next inhale lead you home again. Or let it touch the top of the inhale, whichever feels natural. Stay rhythmic but not rigid. If you label too often and feel choppy, slow down. If everything is sticky, keep the label simple and steady. You might wonder whether to get specific, planning, remembering, judging, worrying. You can, especially if specificity helps you unhook. For many people, a single universal thinking is plenty. It's like using one gentle broom rather than sorting the dust first. If you do get specific, keep the tone kind. Planning, return. Comparing, return. Replaying, return. The word is not a verdict. It's a signpost pointing back to presence. Notice the mind's favourite costumes. A plan forms, dinner, a message to send, the week ahead. Thinking, return to breath. A replay begins, a conversation, what you wish you'd said. Thinking, breath again. A self-judgment pops up. I'm bad at this. Thinking, breath. A comparison arises. Others would be calmer by now. Thinking, breath. A philosophical puzzle unfurls. Thinking, breath. Even meta thoughts about practice count. This labelling isn't working. Thinking, return. At times you'll label after the fact. You'll wake up mid-plot, 5 scenes in. Fine, catch it where you are. 1. Thinking. A soft exhale and you're back. The value lives in the moment of seeing and returning, not in how long you stayed on task. When thoughts come like rain, dense, continual, you don't need to label every drop. Label the weather, thinking as a general umbrella, and rest again with the breath or with the feeling of the body sitting. If it's a storm, widen attention to include the room's sounds, the contact of feet with the ground, the sense of space around you. Label once, then feel the whole field. If labeling starts to feel like a hammer, lighten it until it feels like a feather. You might even shorten the word to a small thin, just a tap, or turn the label into a bow of the head on the inside. If even that is too much, put the tool down for a few breaths and simply stay with sensation. Then pick it up again gently. Work with a hook, not against it. A sticky thought has a hook. Emotion, unfinished business, urgency. Feel the hook in the body. Where does it live right now? Forehead, jaw, throat, chest, belly. Label thinking and soften the area with the next exhale. Longer out breath like a quiet sigh. If helpful, place a hand on the chest or belly and let the warmth be part of the return. The goal isn't to push the thought away. It's to let the body feel safe enough that the thought doesn't need to shout. If drowsiness creeps in, sharpen the edges just a little. Sit a touch taller. Let the eyes open to a soft gaze and make the label clearer, not louder. Thinking. Crisp, then home to breath. If agitation flares, do the opposite. Soften the gaze or close the eyes, lengthen the exhale by a hair and let the label be barely there. Thinking. Melt back into breath and seat. Images count. Planning a route by picturing a map, imagining a face, silently scrolling through to-do items. These are all thinking. Label them too. If the image insists on staying, let it stay without feeding it. You're practicing non-feeding. Label, return, and don't add extra breadcrumbs of attention. Notice the gap after labeling. Very often, the moment you say thinking, a small quiet opens. It may be only a second. That second is precious. It shows you what attention feels like without commentary. Savor it and rest there. No need to rush back to numbers or analysis, just breath and simple aliveness. Try a gentle cycle. 3 breaths without any labels unless a thought is obvious. If a thought appears, thinking, return. After 3 breaths, intentionally invite 1 label on the next thought you notice, then rest again. This prevents the mind from turning labeling into a speed sport. From time to time, let specificity be medicine. If you're snagged in endless future rehearsals, planning can be clarifying. If you're caught in past loops, remembering. If you're narrating your practice, commentary. If you're judging, judging. If you're spinning worst-case scenarios, catastrophizing. Use the specific word for a few minutes, then return to the broad, easy thinking. When strong emotion rides the thought, fear, anger, grief, include it. Label the mental part, thinking. Then name the felt piece if helpful. Tight chest, heat, hollow. Let the breath move through the sensation, like wind through tall grass. You're not fixing, you're staying. If the surge is overwhelming, open the eyes, look at a stable object, feel the ground under your feet or sit bones, lengthen the exhale slightly and settle. Safety first, always. There's trap worth noticing. Arguing with the thought under the banner of labeling. Thinking, but also, here's why that thought is wrong. That's just a new thought wearing a robe. Smile at the cleverness. Thinking. Return. Let the label be consistent enough that the mind recognizes it as a cue. If you switch words, do it intentionally, not constantly. Consistency helps the nervous system learn. This sound means release the story, come home. Now move through a few guided minutes. Rest with the breath. A thought approaches, maybe the shape of an errand. Thinking. Feel the exhale to the end. Next breath arrives. A memory flickers. Someone's voice. Thinking. Soften the jaw. Breath again. Self-assessment shows up. This is too slow. Thinking. Let the belly be soft. Breath. Silence for a second. Let it widen by a hair. Another thought tries to explain the silence. Thinking. Return. Adjust the volume and texture when needed. If the mind races, keep the label steady and simple, one per thought episode. If you feel flat or mechanical, bring friendliness into the tone, almost as if you were saying, "Thank you, thinking." Gratitude loosens the grip without forcing a change. Remember, the aim is not to eliminate thoughts. The aim is to change your relationship to them, from swallowed to seen. Seen thoughts have less power to steer the body and mood. Each thinking is one more rep in the gym of freedom. Try a variation where the label and the breath meet in the lower belly. On the exhale, let awareness sink to the horror. As the breath empties, whisper thinking and feel the belly's gentle return. The word and the sensation arrive together, and you're back without drama. Another helpful image. Your attention is a wide sky. Thoughts are clouds. The label thinking is the breeze that keeps the clouds moving. You don't chase or shoo them. You also don't glue them in place. Breeze, pass, open. When the mind gets tricky and starts labeling the same thought 5 times in a row, thinking, 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 thinking. Let that be a hint to label once and return more firmly to sensation. One label is enough. Over-labeling can itself become another thought stream. If you encounter a loop that keeps returning, an unresolved conversation, an anxious scenario, consider making a small appointment with it. Silently tell the mind, "We'll give this 5 honest minutes after the sit." Then label now and return. Keep your word later with a notepad if needed. Knowing it will be heard reduces the urgency in the present. Sometimes the most powerful part of the practice is the microsecond of willingness, right before the label. It's the moment you choose not to follow the story. Celebrate that moment. It builds capacity. Over time, it changes the felt sense of choice in everyday life. Bring in the senses when stuck. Hear the farthest sound. Feel the ground. Notice the skin of the cheeks. Smell the air. Then label the next thought that appears, thinking, and come back to one simple anchor. The breath at the nostrils, the hand warmth, the contact with the seat. Senses widen. Labeling refines. Anchor steadies. If the label starts to carry irritation, thinking, clean it. Place one friendly breath between noticing and labeling. Feel the breath touch the irritation, then say, thinking as if you were telling a child, "It's okay." The word should soothe, not spike. Let's settle into a longer stretch. For the next while, keep the practice simple. Breath as home, light labels when needed. If nothing takes you, rest. If you drift, wait kindly. If the mind races widen to include sound and contact, then label. If you get caught, the moment you notice is the moment of freedom, thinking, and back. At the end of this stretch, notice how the room feels. Often, the world seems a little larger when you're not inside every thought. Notice how the body feels, perhaps a touch more space behind the eyes, looser jaw, a belly that moves more easily. These are small signs that the label has done its job. Carry the tool beyond the cushion. In line at a shop when the phone doesn't load, when a conversation pauses, notice the mind sprinting ahead. Thinking. Feel your feet. Breath. When lying awake, label the loops, planning, worrying, or simply thinking, and let the exhale be a little longer. Return to the steady rhythm underneath the stories. Before you put the tool down for now, practice 3 clear cycles. Breath in, a thought is seen. Thinking. Breath out to the end, feel the body's weight. Breath in. Another thought. Thinking. Soften the face. Breath in. A tiny quiet. Stay for a heartbeat longer than you used to. Finally, let even the label dissolve for a few breaths. If a thought appears, you know what to do. Until then, just sit in the uncomplicated fact of being here, breathing. The mind will start again. Of course it will, and you will see it, and you will name it, and you will come home. Let the posture be steady and kind. Feel the shape of sitting, weight through the seat, length through the spine, softness through the belly and face. Take one ordinary breath, then another. We'll sweep attention through the body, not to fix anything, but to meet what's already here. If you find areas that ask for care, you can soften, adjust a little, or simply include them in awareness. The pace is unhurried. If you drift, that's normal. The moment you notice, you're already back. Begin where you are and let attention move like a slow beam of light. Start at the crown of the head. Sense the skin of the scalp. You don't need a strong feeling. Noticing that you can't feel much also counts as noticing. If there is tightness, let the next exhale move through it. Not forcing, just giving the area permission to rest by 1%. Trace the forehead from hairline to eyebrows. Smooth from the inside. Let the space between the eyebrows widen. Feel the tiny muscles around the eyes. Imagine the sockets settling back into the skull, the eyes resting on soft shelves. Lids heavy enough to be closed easily, or half open with a gentle gaze. Either way, no strain. Slide down to the temples and ears. Notice contact with air, any faint pulse or warmth. Let the ears listen to distance without trying to catch anything. Every sound belongs to the same field. You don't have to name it. Move attention across the bridge of the nose to the cheeks. If you habitually hold the cheeks up, put them down. Sense the inside of the sinuses. If they feel cool, warm, open, or dull, simply register the quality. Let the upper lip soften. Unhook the jaw. Let the lower teeth part slightly from the upper teeth, unless they rest together naturally. Tongue relaxed against the roof of the mouth behind the teeth. Tip soft. Back broad. Feel the floor of the mouth. Let saliva do what it does without you helping. Lower attention to the throat and the sides of the neck. The breath passes near here. You don't have to guide it. If there is a band of tension, give it one slow exhale as a gift. Notice the back of the neck lengthening. Let the head balance like a cup placed just right, not tipping forward or backward. Arrive at the shoulders. Sense the tops, the fronts near the collarbones, the sides, the backs where shoulder blades live. Many of us try to wear our shoulders. Today they can rest. On an exhale, imagine the shoulder blades sliding down and wide like doors opening. Explore the upper arms from shoulder to elbow, outside and inside. Feel for any buzzing, heat or absence. All sensations are okay. Elbows, fronts and points. Forearms, outer bone, inner soft tissue, through to the wrists. If the hands are in the lap, notice their weight. Hands are being held, not held up. Feel palms, backs of hands, the thin skin over knuckles. Bring attention to each finger, thumb, index, middle, ring, little, from base to tip. On each exhale, let the fingers release one notch. If the thumbs touch, sense the contact point lightly. If they press, back off until it is just contact. Return to the chest. Feel the collarbones from the center out to the shoulders. Let the sternum be easy. The ribs widen and settle in all directions, front, sides, and back. Notice the heart area. No need to manufacture emotion. Just feel the physical presence. Breath moves under and around it. If there's a shield here, you don't have to pry it open. You can include the shield. Sense the upper back behind the heart. the space between shoulder blades can be tender. Offer one breath that arrives there on its own. Let awareness flow down the spine slowly. Cervical vertebrae behind the neck, gentle. Through the upper back, each segment like a small lamp you can perceive without turning it on. Mid-back, then lower back. If the lower back feels tight, invite the pelvis to tip a millimeter in the direction that creates more ease. Forward if you're collapsed, a touch back if you're overarched. Imagine the breath filling the back like a low tide rising and falling. No pushing. Move to the diaphragm, sense the rim under the ribs, the place where inhale lifts and exhale softens. Many of us grip here without knowing. With the next 3 exhales, see if the rim can let go a little. Stomach area. Not a problem to solve, just a region to include. The belly's allowed to be soft. If it feels vulnerable, place a hand there lightly. Feel warmth meeting breath. Let the exhale lengthen by a fraction, like a small sigh you don't need to hear. Lower belly, the hera. Several fingers below the navel and a little inside. Rest attention there for a few breaths. Stable, quiet, enough. Sense the sides of the waist, the flanks. Often overlooked, include them. Now the hips, outer hips, the joints themselves, the deep muscles that rotate the legs, glutes, sit bones, the 2 small stones you balance on. Feel how the seat supports you. The ground is doing a lot of the work. Groin and pelvic floor, lift and release happen here without effort. On the next few breaths, feel the gentle expansion of the pelvic floor on inhale and the return on exhale, like a parachute opening and softly folding. Trace the thighs, front of the thighs from hip to knee long and relaxed. Back of the thighs supported or hanging, let them be heavy. Inner thighs, if there is holding, widen the knees a hair or support them with cushions so the legs can rest without being asked to grip. Outer thighs, let the muscles follow gravity's suggestion. Knees, caps, sides, the hollow behind. If there is discomfort, meet it with curiosity, not bracing. Adjust if needed slowly, as if moving in water, then re-enter stillness. Calves and shins, the shape of the muscles, the bone, the skin. Notice differences between left and right, but don't compare as good or bad. Differences are just facts. Ankles, inner and outer bones. Achilles tendon, a long, quiet cable. Heels, firm islands of contact. Allow them to grow a little heavier. The soles of the feet, thick skin, arches, balls of the feet. Toes, all 10. Spread them gently from the inside without moving if you like. Then let them soften. Big toes often try to help with jobs they weren't hired for. Give them the day off. Sense the spaces between toes. Include the tops of the feet, the delicate tendons and the ankles again. Rest attention in both feet at once. Feel the subtle aliveness, tingling, warmth, steadiness. Let that steadiness travel upward through the lower legs, knees, thighs, hips, pelvis, belly, chest, shoulders, arms, hands, neck, face, scalp, and out through the crown. Then reverse, crown to toes. 2 slow waves, up and down, stitching the body into one piece of felt experience. Now widen attention to include the whole body at once, not a list of parts, a single field. The breath moves within this field, front, back, sides, top, bottom. On inhale, the field gently expands. On exhale, the field subtly condenses. Let the edges be soft. The body is breathing. You're witnessing. If the mind thinks, I don't feel much, include that thought as another sensation. Feeling nothing is also a texture. We'll do a second, more detailed pass, pausing where the body often holds. Scalp again. Imagine combing it with attention, inch by inch, eyebrows to crown to back of the head. If you find frowning in the forehead, let the frown loosen on the next out-breath. Around the eyes, feel the rims, the corners, the space behind them. If there is a habit of squinting, give it up for these few minutes. Ears, outer curves, inner chambers, the tiny muscles that you can't feel but can include. Nose, bridge, sides, tip, nostrils. Let the nostrils register cool in, warm out. If subtle, it's fine. Cheeks and cheekbones. Gravity can have them. Jaw hinge. Place attention right where it meets the skull. Imagine the hinge greased. Throat, front, sides, back, the swallow reflex. Let the swallow happen when it wants. Notice it, then return. Collarbones to sternum. If the chest feels armoured, don't take the armour off. Take the pressure off the armour. Upper back where many carry effort. Breathe under it. Shoulder front, biceps, tendons, shoulder side, deltoid, shoulder back. Rotator cuff territory. No need to know names. Just include the geography. Upper arms to elbows. Let the elbows feel supported by air. Forearms to wrists. Imagine long sleeves of warm water. Hands. Return to the exact temperature where skin meets air. Any pulsing, any stillness. Fingers. You can count them with attention, one by one, tip to base. Ribs, right side, left side. The spaces between them expand with breath. Feel the expansion laterally, not just forward. Diaphragm again. The dome lowering on inhale, rising on exhale. Natural, unforced. Solar plexus. If there's guarding, widen attention to include the back body at the same time. Guarding often eases when it's not spotlighted alone. Belly. Above navel, around navel, below. Lower back. Notice if it wants more support. If yes, nudge the pelvis or add a tiny lift under the sit bones next time. Tonight simply soften. Pelvis, front rim, asis, hip points, sides, sacrum flat bone, tailbone. Pelvic floor again, inhaling like a flower opening a fraction, exhaling like petals settling. Hips, front, hip flexors, sides, glute medius, back, glute max. If gripping, imagine you were putting down a heavy grocery bag you forgot you were holding. Thighs, sweep nested layers without naming them, just thickness, warmth, pressure. Knees, kneecaps track over centres of feet if you're in a chair. In floor sitting, ensure no twist. If you sense a twist, flag it for future adjustment, then soften the surrounding tissue now. Calves, sometimes quietly buzzing. Let buzzing be okay. Shins, skin tightness may appear, let it loosen. Ankles, mobility without movement. Heels, pressure points. Imagine the pressure spreading evenly. Arches, allow them to be present without lifting or collapsing. Balls of feet. If sitting cross-legged, feel contact with air. If on a chair, feel contact with floor through the whole sole. Toes again, this time noticing nail beds and any micro tingles. Hold the whole lower body at once, hips to toes, as one big grounded sensation. Then hold the whole upper body at once, pelvis to crown, as one buoyant sensation. Then hold both together, grounded buoyancy. Now include skin as a layer. Sense the front body skin from face to toes, a single sheet. Sense the back body skin from head to heels. Sense left side skin and right side skin. Sense the midline through face, throat, chest, belly, pelvis, legs. Sense the inner body. Organs as presence rather than form. None of this requires sharp perception. The intent to include is enough. Let breath and body scan meet. Inhale through the whole body, exhale through the whole body. If through confuses, just imagine the breath touching more places. On the exhale, let the ground receive you. On the inhale, let space receive you. Nothing extra. If discomfort announces itself strongly anywhere, give it 3 options. Soften around it, adjust kindly, or widen attention so it's one part among many. If the sensation is sharp or joint-related, adjust. If it's muscular and safe, try softening first. If it's emotional, include its body location and breathe under and around it. There's pain that signals harm and pain that signals resistance. Lean towards safety. This practice is not a test. For a few breaths, do microscans. With each exhale, choose one tiny area and let it drop by one notch. Corners of the eyes, base of the skull, width of the shoulders, hinge of the jaw, crease where thumb meets palm, lower ribs, belt line, hip creases, behind the knees, the arch of each foot. A small release repeated many times teaches the body trust. Sense the skeleton, skull balanced, spine's natural curves, ribs like a basket, pelvis like a bowl, thigh bones planted, shin bones steady, feet as foundations. Now sense the soft tissues draped over this frame, not hanging limp, simply unburdened. Let posture hold you, not effort. Allow awareness to expand beyond the body by a few centimeters in all directions. Feel the space just above the skin, around the head, shoulders, arms, torso, legs, feet. Let the body be in the space and the space be in the body. Hearing continues on its own. Breath continues on its own. Thoughts may pass. Include them as part of the same field without following. We'll finish the scan with 3 gathering breaths. First breath. Notice the whole front body from face to toes receiving the inhale, settling on the exhale. Second breath. The whole back body from head to heels receiving the inhale, settling on the exhale. Third breath. The whole body, inside and out, receiving the inhale, settling on the exhale. Rest now in body as a single piece. If you like, place attention again in the lower belly and feel the body breathe there, the way a house breathes with the day. Let the quiet you've contacted spread without effort to the edges of your life. If the mind speeds up, return to one simple anchor anywhere in the body, nostrils, chest, belly, hands, seat, feet, and begin the gentle sweep again, short or long. Each pass is a reminder. You're here, in a body, being breathed. That is already enough. Let the posture remember itself, grounded below, light above. Let the breath be ordinary. Instead of searching for calm, let the ear-mind open the way a window is opened. No fuss, just a little wider than a moment ago. We'll rest attention in hearing, not to identify or judge sounds, but to experience them as pure vibration. Hearing hears. You don't need to add a listener. Begin by noticing the simple fact that sound is already happening. Without moving a muscle or tilting the head, let the field of hearing present itself. Perhaps there's a faint hum, a distant car, the whisper of air in the room, the tiny rustle of fabric, a bird outside, the slightest ringing that lives in quiet spaces. Don't reach for any of it. Let it arrive on its own, the way the breath arrives on its own. If you find yourself naming car, fridge, bird, neighbour, see if you can meet each event one layer more simply. Tone, rise, fall, texture, distance. You're not wrong to know what things are. You're just not required to narrate them. When you catch the mind telling the story of a sound, soften the narrative to one word, hearing, and return to the raw feel of vibration meeting awareness. Let the field widen. First, the farthest sound you can perceive, perhaps so faint it's almost imagined. Rest there for a breath or two. Then include the middle distance sounds, the ones in your building or room. Then the near sounds, the breath at the nostrils, the tiny movements in the throat, the rustle of clothing with each inhale and exhale. Finally, hold all distances at once, far, middle, near. If that feels like too much, choose one and rest there. You can widen later. Bring curiosity to the shapes of sounds. Notice beginnings, middles, endings, the attack, sustain, decay. Hear how many sounds do not end suddenly. They thin out. They slip into silence. See if you can feel the exact moment a sound disappears. That vanishing point is a doorway to quiet. You don't have to stand in the doorway, just know where it is. Now, feel hearing in 360 degrees. Without moving, sense sounds in front of you, behind you, to your left and right, above and below. If the mind protests, "I can't really tell," smile and let the attempt be gentle. The point is not accuracy. The point is to invite the nervous system to open in all directions. When the body-mind opens, racing thoughts often slow. They have more space to move, include silence as part of the soundscape. Silence is not the absence of experience, it's a texture with its own weight and temperature. When no obvious sound is present, don't search. Rest in the soft hiss of quiet, the room tone that audio engineers love. This too is hearing. Notice how silence supports the next sound and receives the last one. Let silence be felt the way you feel shade on a warm day. If a harsh or sudden sound appears, let the startle response be natural. The body is wise. Then meet the aftershock with one long, slow exhale. Feel the ground under you and hear the tail of the sound as it fades. You are training the body to experience arousal and soothing in the same minute. You do not need to like the sound to include it. Inclusion reduces the friction that makes agitation stick. When a sound pulls a story, memories, judgments, plans, notice the moment you step onto that train. Label thinking if helpful, or simply hearing a story, and return to vibration. Let the story continue in the background without your participation. Like a radio in another room, it can be on while you practice not walking toward it. Invite a few experiments. For the next breaths, let the breath be the background and sound the foreground. Then switch. Breath in the foreground, sound in the background. Alternate several times. This toggling teaches flexibility. Eventually, allow breath and sound to be co-equal, two waves in the same wide sea. Shift attention to the smallest sounds you can perceive, the faint rubbing of fabric where your sleeve meets your side, the breath touching the rims of the nostrils, the tiny creaks of the building settling. Micro sounds reveal micro tensions. If you become aware of a small clench in the jaw or around the eyes as you listen closely, meet it with one generous exhale and let the listening be soft focus rather than squinting. Now open to patterns and rhythm. Hear repeating cycles, a fan's rotation, a clock, distant traffic surging and ebbing your own breathing. Rest in a rhythm without forcing your breath to match it. If synchronization happens on its own, fine. If not, also fine. The practice is to let sound be sound, breath be breath, body be body. If tinnitus or an inner ringing is present, bow to it as part of the soundscape rather than a problem. Instead of pushing it away, soften the edges around it by including more of the room tone and far sounds. Let the ringing float in a wider sky. Notice if the pitch or intensity subtly changes as your attention changes. You don't need it to change. The friendliness of inclusion often lowers the sense of threat. Bring in the vertical dimension. Sense sounds below. Footfall in the building. The faint vibration through the floor. The grounded hush. Sense sounds above. Air moving. An upstairs neighbour. Rooftop wind. The ceiling's quiet. Let below and above be present together. The nervous system often calms when it has a vertical map. Try touching sounds with attention and then letting them go. A sound arises. You notice its texture. Rough, smooth, bright, dull, steady flickering. Then release it back to the field. Another arises. You notice. Release. The noticing is tender. The release is easy. If you find yourself chasing the next sound, pause, feel the seat and the belly, and widen again. You may notice intervals, moments with nothing obvious to hear. Rest there, but don't freeze. let the interval be alive. If the mind rushes in to fill it, sense the interval as a living thing you don't need to decorate. Spaciousness is not emptiness, it's capacity. Now, a gentle sequence. First, choose the farthest sound. Rest with it for 10 breaths, letting other sounds move through the periphery without importance. If the far sound vanishes, rest with the next far sound or with the far silence. Next, choose the nearer sound, perhaps the whisper at the nostrils, the breath's soft click in the throat, or the minimal rustle at the belly. Stay with this. Nearer sound for 10 breaths. If words form, let them pass. Then, open to the entire field again. Far, middle, near, above, below, left, right, front, back. Let hearing be spherical. If that's too abstract, let it be everywhere at once, as best you can. If a sound feels personally directed, voices in the hallway, a phone, someone's music, notice the tug to react. Feel the tug as sensation in the body, chest, jaw, belly. Include the tug as just another sound in the broad sense, an internal event. One slow exhale, shoulders melting. The external sound can stay. Your participation can dim. Play with granularity. For a minute, listen coarsely, big shapes only. Then finely, minute detail. Then natural, no preference. The ability to zoom in and out is a skill you'll use when the mind races. Zooming out often dissolves the feeling of being trapped in a thought tunnel. Bring attention to the edges where sounds overlap. Hear how 2 or more sounds coexist without conflict. The fan and the breath, the traffic and the bird, the room tone and the faint building creak. Let their overlapping teach a principle. Multiple experiences can be present. You don't have to choose or fix. This same principle will apply to moods and thoughts. If music is present in your environment, treat it as sound rather than narrative. Hear tone color, attack and decay, space between notes, reverberation. If lyrics try to recruit you, meet them as texture. If music makes you sway internally, let the sway be subtle and shared with the breath. Then return to stillness. Notice how hearing happens without effort. The ear does not reach out. Vibration arrives. Let that teach you something about attention. It can be receptive rather than grabby. When you feel effort in the forehead, see if you can listen from lower in the body, from the chest or the belly, as if the whole body hears. There is no literal ear there. The image simply softens the habitual push in the head. Now, a contemplative angle. Who is hearing? Instead of answering, let the question open. Feel the moment of sound without a solid hearer. Sound, awareness, one event. This is not an idea to adopt. It's a flavor you can taste for a second at a time. If the mind strains, drop the question and return to simple hearing. Work skillfully with difficult sounds. If a sound is genuinely too much, a drill, a piercing alarm, protect the system. Soften the posture without collapsing, lengthen the exhale, widen to include sight and touch, and if needed, reduce exposure. Wisdom includes practicality. If the sound is merely unpleasant, practice including it for a handful of breaths before shifting focus. Inclusion grows strength. Choice preserves kindness. Let's sit inside a quiet sequence of attention. For 5 breaths, feel the breath in the lower belly while hearing the far field. For 5 breaths, feel the hand's warmth while hearing the middle field. For 5 breaths, feel the weight in the seat while hearing the near field. For 5 breaths, hear all fields at once with no specific body anchor. Finally, for 5 breaths, rest in the whole body and whole field. No center, no edge, just experience. If thought density rises, pair hearing with the soft label hearing on the exhale for a few cycles, then drop the label again. If drowsiness appears, Let the eyes be slightly open and receive the higher frequency sound first. Brightness often returns. Bring playful precision for a moment. Choose a single repeating sound. The fan, the clock, a distant rhythm. Track 3 characteristics for 10 repetitions. Onset, peak, fade. If you lose track, fine. Notice where you return. Then let that micro effort go and rest in the open field again. Notice any emotional colours that sounds paint across the body. A low rumble may put heaviness in the belly. A high chirp may brighten the face. A sudden shout may tighten the throat. Name the colour if it helps. Heavy, bright, tight. Then breathe through it and let it mix back into the larger palette. You're not trying to keep the body blank. You're learning to let sensations move. For a brief interval, listen for the quietest sound in the room. Then, listen for the most continuous sound. Then, the most irregular. Then, drop the categories. The mind loves filters. Give it a few, then let them fall away so hearing can be simple again. As you rest, see if time can loosen. Sounds arise without consulting a schedule. They show you just now. Let racing thoughts ride the current of immediacy. Many will dissolve when tied to what is actually occurring. The room itself becomes a companion, its hum, its breaths, its pauses. Begin a gentle close without closing tension. Feel how hearing and the body share one space. Posture steady, face soft, belly easy, breath unforced. Let the field keep happening around you and through you. You don't need to dim it. You simply don't need to manage it. Carry this practice outward. In conversation, hear the tone beneath words as vibration rather than only meaning. It softens reactivity. On a walk, choose 1 minute to hear the whole street without labeling. At night, when the mind races, rest in the fan's hum, the house's creaks, the quiet between cars. Let the breath lengthen on its own. Waiting on hold, let the tinny music be a textured wave rather than an annoyance. Notice beginnings and endings until annoyance loses its job. Before you move, listen for one more vanishing point. The last shimmer of a sound fading into quiet. Feel the exact moment it's gone. In that same instant, feel the body sitting, unquestionable, present, and the breath arriving. Let the quiet left by that disappearance widen a little, like a window open to evening air. If the mind rushes to fill it, smile. Hearing hears. You are already here. Before you move, let stillness finish its sentence. Feel the shape of sitting. Weight through the seat, length through the spine, the soft sway of the breath. Then decide to stand as if you are placing a feather on water. Place your hands on your thighs, nod to the body, and rise slowly. Let the legs wake. If you need to stretch, a small roll of the shoulders, a gentle opening of the chest, do it like calligraphy. Economical, graceful, unhurried. Choose a path. A quiet hallway, a room's perimeter, a short lane between 2 walls, a gentle circle around a cushion. If space is tight, you can walk 6 steps forward. Pause, turn, and return. If walking is not available to your legs today, you can do micro-walking in place, shifting weight from foot to foot, or practice with imagination while seated, feeling each phase of a step as vividly as you can. Everything counts. Let the hands rest in a simple, composed shape. You can fold them at the belly, one hand lightly holding the other, thumbs touching softly, or let them rest behind your back, one hand holding the wrist of the other. Elbows rounded, shoulders easy. The hands are quiet so the mind can be quiet. Set your gaze softly a few paces ahead, slightly down. Eyes neither searching nor shutting down. The jaw unhooks. The back of the neck lengthens. The crown of the head floats up like a small lantern. The belly is soft and available to the breath. The hips release any unnecessary grip. The knees are unlocked, springy and alive. Find your standing balance. Feel the tripod of each foot. Heel, ball under the big toe, ball under the little toe. Spread the weight evenly. Sense the weight through both legs. If one leg habitually bears more, let the other receive a bit more today. Let the earth do its ancient job of holding you up. We will walk like a quiet river, not frozen, not rushing. A flow that knows where it is without needing to arrive anywhere else. Begin with a single breath. Inhale and feel the body lengthen a hair. Exhale and let the weight settle into the feet. On the next inhale, let the weight shift slightly to the back foot. On the exhale, allow the front foot to become light and lift the heel a few millimeters. Pause without stiffness. The lifting is so small that an outside observer might miss it. You feel it clearly. Move the foot forward slowly, placing it down heel first or the whole sole together, whichever keeps the step quiet and stable. Feel the moment of contact as if greeting a friend. Do not lean into the future. Let the weight arrive only when the foot has arrived. Then transfer your weight through the middle of the foot to the ball and toes. The back heel releases, the back foot lightens, and the body comes along as if drawn by a thread from the hera. One step is one breath, or 2 steps, if that suits. You decide the ratio that creates ease and steadiness. 1 step per breath for very slow walking, 2 or 3 for a gentle flow. Let the step be short. Short steps protect attention. Imagine you're walking inside a poem, each word carefully placed. If you feel the urge to hurry, shorten the step rather than lengthening the pace. Slowness is not a performance, it's an invitation for attention to keep up. Feel the phases of each step. Intention, shift, lift, carry, place, receive. Intention is the soft thought that a step will happen. Shift is the weight moving like water into the supporting leg. Lift is the heel rising and then the foot. Carry is the slow arc forward, low to the ground, air moving across the skin. Place is the sole touching down with care. Receive is the weight flowing into the new base. If you lose track, choose one phase to notice. Often, place is easiest, and let the others be background. Let the breath and the step be friends, not employees. If it helps, pair them gently. Inhale, lift. Exhale, place. Or inhale for half a step, exhale for half. If the breath grows mechanical, drop the pairing and let the breath find its own rhythm, while the feet keep their own delicate time. You can always rejoin them later. Include the whole body in the step. The ankles move with refinement. The knees glide, not lock. The hips release their grip, a quiet figure 8 deep in the pelvis. The lower back remains long, the front ribs rest. The shoulders do nothing extra. The arms, if they aren't folded, hang with a barely perceptible countersway. The head rides the spine like a well-balanced bowl. The eyes receive the world without grabbing. When a thought enters, meet it as you did on the cushion. Thinking. Let the label be as soft as your footfall. Return to contact, the sole touching floor, the weight transferring, the fresh feeling of the next inch of space. Walking is labelling's kindest ally. Sensation is constant and generous. If restlessness appears, this is too slow. Notice how it shows up in the body. Does the jaw tighten? Do the toes curl? Does the forehead lean into the next step? Soften that one place by one notch and keep the pace. Restlessness is a wave. You are the riverbed. When you reach the end of your lane or the corner of your circle, pause. Let both feet stand under you. Take one breath, receiving inhale and exhale. Turn like the hand of a clock. Small, even movements. Many tiny steps if needed. The head last, the gaze steady. Let the turn be as interesting as a step. Then continue. If your tradition suggests a gasho, palms together before turning, make it small and sincere. If not, a silent nod will do. You can walk with a simple phrase to keep the mind company. On the lift, arriving. On the place, here. Or lift, this. Place, step. Or lift, I am. Place, home. Choose a pair that feels kind and let it be very quiet. A rhythm under the rhythm. If the phrase grows sticky, let it go and return to pure sensation. Silence is also a phrase. Explore tempos. Begin ultra slow for a minute. 1 step per full breath. Perhaps with a tiny pause after placing. Feel the micro textures in the soles. The difference between heel and ball, the edges of the toes, the grain of the floor through socks, the press and release. Then let the pace warm to natural slow, 2 steps per breath. Finally, try ordinary pace for 30 seconds with the same care as if you are invisible. See how attention behaves at each speed. Learn the one that suits the moment. If balance wobbles, smile at the body's intelligence. Wobble is information, not failure. Widen your stance a hair. Soften the knees. Let the eyes receive a broader field rather than a narrow point. If needed, place a finger on a wall as a friend, then release it again. Balance improves when fear eases. Fear eases when you're kind. Work kindly with discomfort. If the feet ache, shorten the session, change the surface, use softer socks or slow further so contact is lighter. If the lower back speaks, check the pelvis. A whisper forward tilt often frees the lumbar. If the neck tightens, lift the back of the skull a thread's breadth and unhook the jaw. If the knees complain, keep them unlocked and aligned over the second toe. Reduce turning angles. Make turns with many small steps rather than pivots. If you're walking with others, let awareness include the shared rhythm. Keep a respectful distance. Let your gaze rest just ahead and become part of a moving silence. If someone passes, let them. Your vow is not speed. If you hear a cough, a shoe squeak, a door, include it as texture, not interruption. The path is made of interruptions. You can measure a short course by steps, perhaps 8 to 10 small steps from wall to wall. On the 8th, pause. On the 9th, turn. On the 10th, begin again, or ignore numbers and walk by feel. If counting helps at night when thoughts race, make a simple loop. 5 steps out, turn in 5 small steps, 5 back. Count with the soles. Each turn is a reset. If you cannot or prefer not to walk, shift your weight in place. Feel the left foot grow heavier as the right lightens, then the right heavier, left light. The pelvis tilts imperceptibly, the spine adapts, the breath keeps time. Each shift is a step without going anywhere, or remain seated and imagine the full choreography. Intention, shift, lift, carry, place, receive. The nervous system learns from well-imagined movements too. Bring in the senses, not as distractions, but as companions. Temperature on the skin, the faint movement of air with your passage, the sound of your own step, nearly nothing, and the sound of the room, the scent of the space. The body in space and space in the body. The more the senses participate, the less the mind needs to narrate. Test the edge between effort and ease. If you feel you are doing walking with the forehead, relocate the doing to the belly. Imagine the step beginning 3 fingers below the navel. The feet follow the belly's quiet decision. The shoulders retire from management. The hands keep their soft oval or their resting clasp. Let the chest be as soft as it can while remaining open. At intervals, stop. Not because you reach somewhere, but to taste stillness after flow. Standing, feel how the feet and the breath converse. The whole body hums, not loudly, just enough to know it is alive. Then start again, 1 step like the first step ever taken. Work with mood. If anxiety arranges itself in your chest, let the exhale travel down the legs into the floor on each place. If sadness gathers, let the inhale gently widen the back ribs. Place the foot with the tenderness you wish for yourself. If anger crackles, keep the steps small and exquisitely careful. Let the jaw soften each time the foot softens. If joy sparkles, keep the pace steady so excitement doesn't spill you forward. Allow gratitude to infuse the souls. When the mind races ahead, after this I need to remember to let the forward lean show itself as a tilt in the body. Bring the head back over the spine by a hair. Let the pelvis sit back just enough that your next step begins under you, not in front of you. Practice arriving with the middle of the foot rather than lunging with the front of the head. Turning can be its own meditation. Before each turn, stop fully. Feel both feet. Allow one quiet breath. Then step the outside foot a small arc. Place, receive. Step the inside foot to catch up. Repeat in as many tiny increments as needed until you face the new direction. Head follows last. If you catch yourself whipping around, smile and do the next turn as if teaching a child. Simple, patient, safe. Try a period of gull walking if you like. With each lift, calm. With each place, ease, or lift, arriving. Place, home. Let the words be so faint they almost dissolve into vibration. If words become mental chewing, drop them and walk with breath only. Notice the moment when walking starts to feel natural, the mind no longer negotiating the pace. This is where the river knows its banks. Stay here, not by gripping it, but by continuing the same care with each step. Familiarity is not license to drift. It's permission to deepen. If you walk outdoors, keep the same spirit with a slightly quicker pace. Let your eyes widen to receive trees, buildings, sky as colour and light rather than commentary. Feel the ground change underfoot, stone, soil, wood, carpet of leaves. If other people appear, make room with kindness. If a dog rushes joyfully, let joy ripple through and keep your footing. If a car horn sounds, receive the startle and let the next exhale be long. Bring practice to thresholds. Before stepping through a doorway, pause, one breath, one step. Crossing thresholds slowly teaches the body that transitions can be gentle. Between rooms, between moods, between tasks, one breath, one step. When it's time to close, don't stop abruptly, let one loop finish. On the last step, place the foot as you place the first, with care. Stand still for 3 breaths, feeling the wake of movement settle through the body. Notice the soles, the ankles, the knees, the hips, the spine, the shoulders, the jaw, the eyes. Everything knows what to do. Bow slightly if you like, to the path, to the feet, to the ground that held you. Return to your seat with the same attention. Lower yourself as if placing a fragile bowl on a shelf. Sit and feel how the river of walking flows into the lake of sitting. The breath continues. The mind may feel a touch quieter, or not. Either way, you have practiced meeting life at the speed of attention. Later, when the mind wants to sprint, you can remember the soles of the feet and let one step be enough. Carry this into your day. In the kitchen, 1 step to the sink, 1 step to the stove. In conversation, step with the person's words, not ahead of them. In a hallway, arrive at the doorknob before turning it. On a staircase, 1 breath every few steps, a hand on the rail like greeting a friend. In the night when thoughts race, 3 slow steps beside your bed, turning like the clock's hand, returning like the tide, everything quieter by a few degrees. The practice is simple: intention, shift, lift, carry, place, receive. Over and over until the body teaches the mind what arriving feels like. When you forget, the floor is always right there to remind you. When you remember, each step is a small bow to the only place you can truly be. Here. If you have tea nearby, Wonderful. If not, a cup of warm water, coffee, cocoa, or broth will do. If even that isn't available, we'll use imagination. Your attention is the real ingredient. Let the body remember its steady posture. Feel the seat, the length of the spine, the soft belly. One breath arrives, one breath leaves. We'll place ordinary life at the centre of practice, lifting a cup, smelling steam, sipping, setting down, and doing it all as if for the very first time. Begin by choosing a vessel, a mug, a bowl, a glass. Notice its shape without judging. Straight-sided, curved, thick, thin. If it's dusty, wipe it slowly and feel the cloth move. If it's clean, simply see the way light sits on its surface. Let the hands do each action with about 80% effort, enough to be clear, not so much that you tighten. If you're making tea, meet the leaves. Open the tin or bag with care. Notice the sound of paper or metal. Bring the leaves to the nose. Smell without hunting. Grass, toast, flowers, earth, sea, smoke. Nothing in particular. If you don't smell much, that too is a scent. Name it as subtle and move on. If you're using a tea bag, treat it as a small boat carrying a field on its back. If you have no tea, lift the empty cup and smell the memory of tea. The mind is capable of vivid gentleness. Fill the kettle. Hear water change pitch as it rises. Feel the weight, the handle in the hand. Place it down. Switch on or set it on the stove. Let the weight be part of the practice, not the blank between real moments, but the moment itself. Stand or sit near and listen. Water begins to stir. A hum grows. Tiny pops. The body mirrors the approach to a boil. More movement, then release. While you wait, arrange a small space. Put the cup where the hand finds it easily. If you enjoy a tray, place it with care, but do not worship the arrangement. Clarity is enough. If you have a spoon, lay it down so it doesn't clatter later. If there is clutter, push nothing away. Simply create a little island of order and let the rest be ocean. When the water is ready, boiling or just shy depending on your tea, pour a little into the empty cup first to warm it. Swirl. Feel heat through the ceramic. Pour that water out. Notice steam as a kind of moving light. If using loose leaves, measure without fuss. Pinch, teaspoon, enough. If using a tea bag, let it rest like a leaf on a pond. Pour water over and hear the soft rush. See colour bloom in the cup. If you're steeping in a pot, watch the swirl settle. You don't need to manage steep time with severity. You can glance at a clock if it helps, or use the sense of smell and colour. If the mind starts calculating, label it thinking, and return to swirl, steam, warmth. As it steeps, rest one palm on the belly and breathe. Inhale, the cup holds heat. Exhale, the body receives ease. If the tea is strong, good. If weak, also good. Let preference be present without being pilot. If you must change something, pull the bag, add water, do it slowly like drawing a curtain. Lift the cup. Notice how hands automatically find a safe grip. Feel heat at the fingers, the contrast where the handle is cool. Bring the cup near the face and pause. Smell first sip. The nose teaches the tongue. Without searching for notes, let your brain do what it knows. Warm, fresh, toasty, quiet. If labels appear, let them be background. Keep the foreground as texture. Take one small sip. Not performance, not a ritual to get right, just a tiny river from cup to mouth. Feel the lip of the cup, the tongue receives, the throat says yes, then swallow. Track the sip all the way down until it disappears. Notice the echo it leaves behind, a trail of warmth, a soft aftertaste, a widening somewhere under the ribs. Wait one breath before another sip. If impatience arrives, include it. Impatience and warmth at the cup, both are allowed. Now let each sip have 5 movements. See, smell, sip, swallow, rest. See the surface, colour, tiny movement. Smell the steam. Sip, small enough that you could count 5 breaths from cup to cup if you wished. Swallow and follow. Rest with the empty mouth for a moment to notice the aftertaste and the breath returning. Then again. If you lose track and drink half the cup, smile and rejoin. Beginning again is the most advanced form. Work with attention like a camera. Zoom in. The exact place where cup touches lip. The first molecule of warmth on the tongue. The tiny click in the throat as you swallow. Zoom out. Cup in hands. Body in chair. Room around you. The house. The day. Then natural view. Not too close, not too far. A simple human drinking something warm. If your tea invites stirring, honey, milk. Let even that be careful. The spoon touches the side just once. Stir and listen. Put the spoon down softly where you prepared that quiet landing. Taste without commentary. If it's sweet, notice sweetness registering in the cheeks. If it's bitter, include bitter as a clean sensation. Bitterness often carries clarity when not resisted. Bring gratitude without fireworks. Trace one visible thread backwards. This leaf came from rain, soil, sun, from hands that picked, hands that dried, hands that packed, hands that carried, hands that shelved, from the kettle's maker, the power that heats, the cup's clay, the water's long journey. Do not force feelings. Awareness is gratitude in motion. If a thank you wants to form, let it be small and true. Let the breath and the sip converse. Inhale, cup approaches. Exhale, cup moves away. Or inhale and sip together. Exhale and swallow. Only if it's comfortable. If the breath feels managed, let it go free and keep sipping gently. The point is companionship, not control. When thoughts enter, plans, critiques, wandering, label softly as thinking and return to steam against lip, hand on handle, warmth moving down the chest. Tea is generous with anchors, weight, heat, scent, flavour, sound. You cannot run out of ways to return. Try a sequence for several minutes. For 3 sips, focus on touch. Cup on fingers, cup on lip, warmth in the palm. For 3 sips, focus on smell. Steam arriving, changing as the tea cools. For 3 sips, focus on taste. First contact, middle, aftertaste. For 3 sips, focus on sound, small clinks, liquid moving, your own breath. For 3 sips, focus on the whole field. Everything at once, nothing in charge. If the tea grows cold, include cold. Notice how flavour shifts. If the cup empties, include empty. Sense the faint tea line, the ghost of heat. If a drip runs down the outside, feel it with a finger and clean it with a cloth as if polishing a small moon. Practical care is attention expressed. If you're whisking matcha, let whisking be the practice. Wrist soft, movement quick but light. A small M or W shape, bubbles rising like dawn. If you're steeping oolong, let multiple pours be many chances to start over. If you have only a tea bag and a motel cup, let that be perfect. The mind likes to rank, the heart likes to meet what's here. If drinking brings emotion, comfort, grief, nostalgia, make a wider saucer of attention to hold it. Feel where the emotion lives right now, behind eyes, in throat, in belly. Sip while feeling that place. You're not using tea to fix anything. You're letting tea accompany what is present. Warmth is company. Between sips, rest your hands on the cup like hands on a small animal. Supportive, not possessive. If the cup is too hot, let it sit. If too cool, warm your hands. Around it anyway. You're practicing consent with tiny things. This skill migrates to larger ones. From time to time, put the cup down and close the eyes. 5 breaths. Inhale. Linger in the faint scent that still rises. Exhale, soften the jaw. Inhale, widen the back ribs. Exhale, feel the seat receive you. Then open the eyes and continue. You're allowed to pause. The world will wait. Bring a quiet question for a few sips. Who is drinking? Do not answer. Let the question create space and drink inside that space. If the mind strains, relax the question. Let just drinking be enough. When you reach the last inch, slow down further. Many of us hurry the ending already onto the next. Let the end be as deliberate as the beginning. One sip, rest. Another, rest. The final sip. Feel the cup become lighter than you expected. After you swallow, wait 3 breaths with empty hands and notice the body's after-tea feeling. Heat moving, belly soft, breath steady, shoulders low. Remember this. It's a map you can redraw anywhere. Now the cleanup is the ceremony too. Carry the cup to the sink without clatter. Turn on water softly. Rinse the cup as if polishing a small piece of sky. If you used a pot or kettle, wipe the places where water beaded and dried. Lay the spoon gently where it lives. If a drip lands on the counter, meet it with the cloth and feel the circle vanish. This is not about spotless surfaces. It's about finishing what you started in a way the body trusts. If others are nearby, you can pour them a cup with the same attention. Notice how giving shifts your center of gravity outward without losing inward steadiness. If no one is nearby, offer one breath of the calm you've gathered to someone in your mind, a friend, a stranger, yourself, from earlier who rushed. No need for words, just a quiet wish. May this ease find you. Carry T-Mind into other small acts today. When you wash your hands, feel water meet skin, and watch the arc back to the sink, dry with the towel as if handling something alive. When you open a door, feel the cool of the handle, the slight resistance, the click. Step through like crossing a soft border. When you check your phone, let one breath happen first, then lift it like a cup and put it down like a cup. Everyday objects become bells. At night, if thoughts race, you can sit up and take 3 imaginary sips. Lift an invisible cup, smell the steam your memory makes, sip air, swallow, rest. The nervous system sometimes needs the gesture more than the liquid. If you do make real tea at night, choose something gentle. Let each sip lengthen the exhale by a thread. Let the last sip be the sign to turn off lights in the mind. If you spilled, laughed, forgot to notice half of it, excellent. See how ordinary it all is, and how ordinariness is enough. The practice is not to create specialness, but to remove the fog from what is already quietly luminous. T-Mind is dish mind, key mind, pen mind, keyboard mind, shoe, mind. The attention you brought to steam can be brought to the next email's first word, to tying laces, to the sound of a friend's hello. Before moving on, place the empty cup where it belongs. Sit for a few breaths and feel the echo of the ritual settle through the body. Touch the lower belly with awareness. Let shoulders release again. Let the jaw slacken by 1 grain. The mouth is empty. The hands are empty. The moment is full. Stand up without hurry. Walk a few slow steps like we learned. Intention, shift, lift, carry, place, receive. Notice how the body remembers warmth even when the cup is gone. This is the point. To drink so fully that the drinking keeps drinking you long after the last sip. When the mind starts to sprint again, let some part of you pick up the cup in memory. See, smell, sip, swallow, rest, and step back into the simple kindness of here. Let your posture remember what it learned. Grounded below, light above. Let the breath be as it is. We are going to practice seeing this moment as if for the first time, because in truth, we have never seen this exact breath before. You don't have to erase experience. You only have to loosen your grip on what you think you already know. Curiosity is enough. Begin with a simple invitation. Just for now, I don't know. Say it quietly inside. Notice what happens in the body when you let go of being the expert of your own life. Often the forehead softens, the jaw slackens, the belly receives the breath more easily. Just for now keeps it safe. You can pick up all your knowledge again later. For the next few minutes, we'll practice not knowing on purpose. Bring attention to the breath with first-time eyes. Imagine you have never met breathing. What is it like exactly, where air meets the rims of the nostrils? Is it cool or neutral? Does it arrive steady or in small waves? Where does the exhale end? How do you know it ended? Don't reach for the right answer. Notice your own direct data. Beginner's mind is empirical. It checks what is here instead of what should be here. If a label appears, in-breath, out-breath, that's fine, but softer than usual. Try swapping labels for questions. What is this? Let the question be a spotlight, not a drill. Ask it and then feel. The question does not want an idea. It wants contact. Let the senses reopen as if each were new. Hearing. Can you feel the difference between a sound beginning and a sound continuing? Touch. Where does the shirt meet the skin most clearly? Sight. Even behind closed eyes. What is the texture of the darkness? Flat, speckled, warm, cool. Taste. Any echo in the mouth left from earlier? Smell. A hint of soap, wood, air. You're not hunting. You're letting the world come to you and saying, oh, notice the mind's habit of ranking. This is interesting. That is boring. Try this experiment. Choose something your mind calls boring, like the feeling of your socks, and explore it for 10 breaths. Boredom often means we stopped paying attention before the details had a chance to appear. Beginner's mind is interested in the ordinary. It knows that ordinary is where calm hides. Shift to the hands. Look at one palm slowly. Trace the lines with your eyes as though you had never seen a hand. Turn the hand, feel the weight of air against it. Close the eyes and feel a single fingertip from the inside. What is there? Tingling, pressure, temperature, space. Let the finger be a world. When you truly look this way, the restless mind often quiets. It has something real to do. Bring in a small phrase to steady curiosity. As if the first time. Breathe as if the first time. Hear as if the first time. Sit as if the first time. You can attach the phrase to the end of the exhale for a few cycles, then drop the words and keep the attitude. If certainty arrives, I know this, it's just air in, air out, smile. Certainty is not the enemy, only a habit. Label knowing and return to sensing. You're not making yourself naive, you're giving experience a chance to update you. Let's practice with thoughts. When a thought appears, instead of immediately believing or rejecting it, tilt your head inwardly and wonder, how does this thought feel right now? Feel it as a body event. A pinch in the brow, a pull in the chest, a push forward in the head. Beginner's mind doesn't argue, it investigates. Very often the energy of the thought softens when it's felt rather than fought. Now a short sequence of fresh eyes. Choose one sound in the room. Hear its beginning, middle and end 3 times, as if learning its language. Shift to the breath at the belly. Feel just the first half second of inhale for 3 breaths. No more. Then just the last half second of exhale for 3 breaths. No more. Open to the whole body at once. Ask quietly, what is true right now? Do not answer with concepts. Let sensation answer. Bring in maybe. The expert mind says always and never. The beginner says maybe. Maybe this feeling will pass, maybe it won't. Maybe this breath needs to be smaller, maybe it wants to lengthen. let maybe open a window where the expert had closed a door. If impatience shows up, we've done this already. Include it. Beginner's mind includes the one who is not a beginner. Where does impatience sit in the body? Warmth in the face? Tightness in the chest? Let curiosity land there for a few breaths. Most moods are willing to be explored if they are not being fixed. Try a tiny koan for a minute. Before you name it, what is this? Pick anything. The pressure under the sit bones, the breath turning point, the hum in the room, and put the question beside it like a lamp. Again, no verbal answer. Let the thing answer by being itself. Not naming is not denying, it's delaying the label long enough to taste the raw data. When you do name it later, the name will be grounded. Now meet your own face with fresh eyes from the inside. Scan brow, eyes, cheeks, mouth. Notice any expression you're wearing by habit. For 3 breaths, allow that expression to melt by 2 degrees. You might feel space behind the eyes, the jaw hanging from its hinges, the tongue widening. The mind often quiets when the face stops broadcasting certainty. Beginner's mind is tender with mistakes. Intentionally lose the breath count for a moment and watch how you return. The return is the teaching. You don't need to scold yourself. You can say, "Ah," and begin again. The most advanced practitioners begin again 1,000 times in one sit, gently every time. Let your attention step outside the script. Choose one object near you, a cup, a pen, a fold of fabric. Look at it as if you were visiting from another planet and had never seen such a thing. Notice colour without saying blue, shape without cup, edges and shadows like weather. Then put it down and feel the echo in the body of looking without a name. That echo's quiet. Bring the quality to breath again. What is this inhale like? Answers change. Spacious, narrow, cool, steady, shy. Let it be new each time. If the mind tries to lock in an answer, it's always cool. Check the next inhale. Maybe not. The checking is the practice. We'll do a small cycle that resets the habit of prediction. Breath 1, expect nothing, observe everything. Breath 2, find one detail that surprises you, even if tiny. Breath 3, drop even the frame of surprise and just feel. Repeat this 3-breath cycle for a minute or 2. Beginner's mind is also humble about progress. If you feel calm, wonderful. Meet calm with the same curiosity you would meet restlessness. How does calm feel exactly? Where is it in the body? Is it heavy or light? Warm or cool? If you feel stirred up, meet that too. Both states are teachers. Neither is a certificate. Try first-time posture for a moment. Sit as though you forgot which muscles to tighten. Most people discover the body uses fewer than they thought. Let everything not needed release by 5%. Hands, toes, forehead, throat, shoulders, belly. The structure remains, the polish of effort fades. Feel how alertness survives softness. Work with time. The expert mind lives slightly ahead. The beginner lives where the breath touches now. For the next minute, practice catching the exact moment when the inhale becomes the exhale, and the exhale becomes the inhale. Not the idea of it, the moment. Sometimes you'll miss it. That's fine. Curiosity continues. Bring in gratitude without drama. Thank you, breath, for happening without my management. The expert tries to drive. The beginner says thank you to a bus that already knows its route. Let this soften the forehead and widen the back of the heart. Now, play with preference. If you like the inhale more, give 3 breaths to the exhale. If you like quiet, listen for the louder sound and include it. If you like stillness, feel the smallest movements. If you like fine detail, zoom out to the whole field. Each time you lean, gently lean the other way. A beginner explores the whole room, not just the favourite corner. If a strong opinion arrives about meditation, about life, turn it sideways and look at its underside. What is the body sensation that comes with the opinion? Can you hold the sensation without repeating the sentence? This is a way of letting opinions be guests instead of landlords. We'll do a curiosity ladder through the body. Pick the spot with the clearest sensation, maybe the nostrils. Ask, what 3 qualities are here? E.g., cool, moving, thin. Pick a subtler spot, maybe the middle of the chest. Ask, what 2 qualities are here? E.g., warm, wide. Pick the subtlest spot you can still feel, maybe the space behind the eyes. Ask, what 1 quality is here? Then hold the whole body with no questions for a few breaths. Let beginner's mind visit your thoughts about the future. Take 1 future image your mind loves, an email to send, a task to do, and examine it gently. What colours does this image have? Where does it sit in your head? What body sensation accompanies it? By sensing the mechanics, you step out of the trance of later and back into now. Try the don't know bow. On the exhale, silently bow inside to don't know, not as resignation but as openness. On the inhale, allow what is here to meet you. Repeat for a minute. Exhale, bow. Inhale, meet. This trains trust. Life is happening. You can receive it. If the mind insists on content, give it content that breeds softness. Choose 3 beginner questions to keep in your pocket. What is alive right now? Where does the exhale end? What did I miss a second ago? Use 1 question per breath for a short stretch, then drop questions and rest. We'll explore the edge where memory helps and harms. Memory is useful. It tells you not to touch the hot pan, but memory can also flatten the moment. I know how this goes. For the next few breaths, put memory on a low shelf. If it rushes back, say thank you and keep it low. Let direct contact lead. Return to the senses one by one with the gentlest possible touch. Hearing as sound, not story. Sight as light and darkness, not objects. Touch as pressure and temperature, not furniture and clothing. Smell as faint or strong, not names. Taste as present or absent, not cuisine. Now widen to include the whole field, labelled or unlabelled as needed, and let the breath be a tide through it. Beginner's mind does not try to remove skills. It sets them down just long enough to keep them from covering the world. We'll practice not knowing with emotion. Bring to mind something mildly annoying that happened recently. Just enough energy to feel, not enough to overwhelm. Where the body does annoyance live. Heat in the face, tight around the throat, buzz in the belly. Hold it like a scientist, gentle and curious. Ask, what is this? In sensation. If a story tries to speak, let it pass and return to the heat, the tightness, the buzz. Watch what happens when you stay with the raw ingredients. Often the recipe changes. Let your eyes open softly if they were closed. Look around the room as if you just moved in. Lines, colours, corners, shadows. Notice any "this is mine" and soften it to "this is here." If you catch yourself scanning for flaws, try scanning for one beautiful thing. Something tiny counts. A reflection on a knob, a wrinkle in fabric, the way light meets a wall. Beauty is not the goal. Perception flexibility is. Close the eyes again if you like, and return to breath. Place one palm lightly on the belly. Feel the hand being moved by breathing you did not design. The hand learns from the belly how to be a hand, warm, patient, not knowing, and not worried about not knowing. We'll end this stretch with a first breaths ribbon. Breath 1, here. Breath 2, fresh. Breath 3, enough. Whisper the word at the end of the exhale, then let the next inhale arrive without words. Repeat the ribbon a few times, then let even the words go. Before we shift, notice what beginner's mind feels like in the body. For many, it is a softening behind the eyes, a drop in the shoulders, a cooler forehead, a steadier belly. For you, it might be something else. Memorize the footprint. Later, when the mind races, you can step back into this footprint for a breath or two. Carry this quality into the small turns of your day. When you stand up as if for the first time. When you take one step, take it as if for the first time. When you wash your hands, feel water like weather you've never felt. When you see someone you know, look as though meeting a stranger while remembering their name. A blend of warmth and curiosity. If you forget, wonderful. That's another first time to notice you forgot and begin again. As you rest now, let the expert in you sit beside the beginner, not banished, not in charge. Both are welcome. The beginner keeps your eyes soft. The expert keeps you safe when needed. For this breath, let the beginner hold the steering wheel lightly. Just for now, I don't know. The body hears that and relaxes a little more. The breath arrives, and it is new. The breath leaves, and it is new. You, exactly as you are new, and that is enough. Let the breath show you how everything moves. Notice the inhale appear from nowhere, not because you summoned it, but because life knows how to arrive. Feel it crest for a moment at the top, then turn and slip away. Watch the exhale fade to a fine thread, then nothing, and out of that nothing the next inhale begins, arising, lasting, passing. That is the rhythm of breath. That is the rhythm of everything. See if you can feel the very first hint of each inhale, a widening in the ribs, a coolness at the nostrils, and the exact moment it ceases. Then the exact moment the exhale begins, its soft descent, and the instant it's gone. Do not force. You are learning the texture of change. Let this three-part noticing touch other things. A sound out there, beginning, middle, end. A sensation in the knee, sharpening, staying, softening. A mood in the chest, appearing, being here, dissolving. When you catch yourself gripping an idea, a feeling, a plan, quietly ask, where am I in the curve of a rising, last in passing? If it is rising, let it rise. If it is staying, let it stay without signing a lease. If it is passing, let it pass without chasing. You do not have to be the stagehand for the universe. The scene knows how to change. Hold something gently in attention, a thought that keeps returning, a worry. Notice how it flickers, bright, dim, gone, back again in a slightly different costume. You don't have to push it off the stage. You can keep your seat and watch the costume changes. If the body tightens around the scene, widen the frame, include the seat, the breath, the space around the shoulders. In a wider theatre, individual actors feel less overwhelming. Practice small letting goes. On the next exhale, release the jaw by a grain. On the next, set down the weight behind the eyes by a grain. On the next, let the shoulders fall a millimetre. On the next, loosen the grip on needing this moment to be different by a grain. Impermanence is already doing most of the letting go for you. You are cooperating with what is true, not inventing a new truth. If sadness about change appears, bow to it. It knows the price of loving anything. Feel where the sadness lives now, in the throat, the chest, the belly, and breathe under it the way you would warm cold hands, nothing to fix. Let the sadness rise, last, and pass inside a body that can hold it. If relief appears a minute later, treat relief the same way. You're practicing equal kindness for all weather. Let go, gently, of fixing your practice too. If the sit is busy, let it be a busy sit that also contains one breath at a time. If the sit is quiet, let it be a quiet sit that you do not try to bind and keep. Each breath walks in, bows and leaves. You bow back. Now turn toward the mind that will not stop, not as a problem, but as a creature trying to help. Place a hand where it feels kind, chest, belly, cheek, and breathe there for a few breaths. Inhale, of course. Exhale, it's okay. Say this inwardly to the rush of thought. Of course you're trying to prepare. It's okay to rest for a moment. The tone matters more than the words. Make it the tone you would use with a child who is overtired but unwilling to admit it. Offer yourself steady phrases paced with breath. On the inhale, may I be safe. On the exhale, may I be at ease. Inhale, may I be kind to this mind. Exhale, may this mind learn to trust. If the phrases feel too abstract, make them simpler. Inhale, soften. Exhale, allow. You're not trying to drown out thoughts. You are changing the climate they fly in. In a warmer climate, they land and rest on their own. Let your kindness be specific. When a harsh sentence appears, I'm failing at this, meet it with a counter gift. Thank you for trying to help. And then a boundary. We're resting now. When the body jitters, adjust kindly. Change the angle of the pelvis. Soften the belly. Open or close the eyes a notch. Compassion is practical. Soften the breath's edge by a hair on the exhale. Lengthen nothing dramatically. Show the body what safe enough feels like, one little signal at a time. If you notice kindness turning into a project, I must be kind perfectly. Smile. That too is a habit trying to help. Drop the word perfectly, keep only kind. One quiet exhale, one unclenched jaw, one forgiving return when you notice you're gone. Let the phrases widen outward. Think of someone who is also restless, someone you know or a stranger you've passed. Inhale, may you be safe. Exhale, may you be at ease. If this feels natural, include more. Neighbours, difficult people, the anxious parts of the world. Do not strain. A small lamp lights a real circle. Now let a question enter, not as a riddle to solve, but as a doorway to silence. Who is breathing? Sit with the question the way you might sit beside a lake at dawn. You do not shout across the water. You let the surface be still and see what appears. On an inhale, feel the breath arriving. On the turn, taste the question. Who is breathing? On the exhale, let the question dissolve. No answer is needed. The point is not to catch something. The point is to stop throwing. If the mind produces fast replies, I am, the body, nobody, life, note them as thoughts, bow, thinking, and place the question again like a feather. Who is breathing? Then listen. Notice what remains when the answer-making machine is quiet for a second. A breath happening, a body sitting, sounds arising, awareness aware. Let your attention rest in that unconstructed place for as long as it will, a heartbeat or 3. That is enough. Allow the question to wander to other edges. Who is hearing? A sound arises and is known before a name, before a story. Who is knowing it? Don't chase. Place the question and let it open the floor beneath concepts. If nothing opens, that's also something. Feel the honesty of not knowing and let it be your temple. Return to breath. Let the question fall away for a minute. Sit as if you've just tasted clear water. Nothing to prove, nothing to perform. If the urge to prove returns, bow and let it pass. Open your attention now like the sky opening after rain. Feel how the body sits but widen beyond edges. Let the breath be a breeze. Let sounds drift like birds. Let thoughts appear the way clouds appear, forming, reshaping, dissolving without a meeting about it. You're not the weather. You're the sky that allows weather. When a thought cloud thickens, dark, insistent, look for the blue behind it. Do not force the blue. Remember it. Even when the sky's fully clouded, the sky's there, unchanged. You can sense sky by softening your focus from the detail of the cloud to the space it floats in. Try this with a thought. Instead of reading every word, feel the space around it and the space it arises in. That sense of space is the sky of mind. Practice simple allowing. A sound arrives, allowed. A memory knocks, allowed. An itch, allowed. A fear, allowed. Allowed does not mean endorsed. It means recognized as a visitor, not a landlord. The more you practice allowing, the less the visitors need to pound on the door. Paradox. Allowing reduces stickiness. If you're pulled into a cloud and forget the sky, excellent. The moment you remember, you have already stepped into space again. Mark that return with one soft exhale and one friendly word, here, then continue. Let the sky widen to include the body's weather. Tightness in the chest, it can float. Warmth in the belly, let it glow. Numbness in the legs, let numbness be a cloud too. The sky does not need to be fixed for weather to be held. You are training a big inner room. Now let's drop the tools. Put down counting, labeling, asking. Sit in the simple dignity of being. Breath happens, hearing happens, warmth and coolness shift. Thoughts may move like distant traffic. You do not need to touch any of it. Just this. If just this tries to become a technique, smile and let even that go. Imagine sitting like a cat in a sunbeam, alert, not busy. Feel how sitting can do itself when you stop arranging. The spine stands, the lungs move, the world arrives. If a preference shows up, I prefer the exhale, I prefer silence. Notice and return to this unedited frame. If you catch yourself measuring, is this deep enough? Place measurement on the shelf and let the plainness of the moment rest on the table. At times, just this may feel empty in a way that scares the mind that loves projects. Soften with a tiny kindness. Place a hand on the heart for 3 breaths, then release it again. Let the body know you are here. Then return to undoing. No gaining idea, as the old teachers say. The wheat grows at night. Stay with this simplicity for a while. When you drift, drift. When you remember, remember. The practice is not hidden. It is this. Bell ring softly. Let it fade. Let that sound pass through you like light through clear water. If you were closing your eyes, let the eyelids grow slightly thinner to the room without opening yet. Feel the breath arrive. Without hurry, begin to notice the edges of your seat, the contact of feet, the weight of hands. If you wish, bring the palms together for a moment. A small bow to breath, to body, to awareness, to the practice that kept you company. Bell rings softly again. Let it fade. Let gratitude be quiet and wide. Offer a simple dedication, spoken or unspoken. May the steadiness I touched here ripple out to anyone who needs steadiness. If you want words, you can use these paced with breath. Inhale. May I be at ease. Exhale. May you be at ease. Inhale. May we be at ease. Exhale. May all beings be at ease. Or inhale. Whatever goodness arose here. Exhale. May it benefit every corner of life. Think of one person who struggles tonight. Send a breath their way without strain. Think of one place on earth that aches. Send a breath there. Think of your future self in a hard moment. Send a breath forward in time. This is imagination used as kindness. The heart understands. Bell rings a final time. Let it fade completely. As the last thread of sound dissolves, feel the ordinary room reappear. Shapes, light, air. Do not rush to stand. Let the practice finish itself inside you. Swallow once, feel the throat. Blink once, slowly. If you moved into stillness tonight, trust that some of it will travel with you, even if you don't feel it immediately. If you felt nothing special, trust that you watered roots unseen. When you do rise, do it like a page turning, carefully, completely. Stand and feel the soles of your feet find the floor. Walk a few steps with the same quiet you cultivated. Intention, shift, lift, carry, place, receive. Pour a glass of water as if it were a continuation of the sit. Speak to the next person you meet as if your words were placed like cups on a table. No clatter, no hurry. Carry simple reminders into the hours ahead. Arising, lasting, passing. Of course, and it's okay. Who is breathing? Sky around cloud. Just this. Here. When you forget, and you will, use forgetting as your bell. Begin again, gently. Let your day be many small bows to the only time you ever get to practice. This breath, this step, this life, always new. As this journey through stillness draws to its quiet close, take a slow, deliberate breath. Feel the air enter through your nose, travel down the throat and settle deep within the belly. Let the exhale drift out like a sigh that has been waiting for centuries to be released. You have listened, breathed, sat, walked, tasted, questioned, and simply existed. In the soft unfolding of these moments, you may have glimpsed something subtle, a space behind the noise, a rhythm beneath the racing thoughts, a silence that was never truly gone. It was here before you began, and it is still here now, unchanged, waiting whenever you return. Zen practice is not a flight from life. It is the deepest arrival into it. The quiet you touch when the mind stops chasing does not belong only to meditation halls or long sittings. It lives in the steam rising from your morning tea, in the sound of your footsteps on a cold floor, in the small pause before you answer someone's question. Every gesture, when done with awareness, is a doorway. Every breath is a bell calling you home. Let the stillness you cultivated tonight follow you like a shadow, soft, invisible, faithful. When you leave this meditation, do not leave the attention behind. Bring it with you as you fold a blanket, wash a dish, switch off a light. Feel the weight of the doorknob as you turn it. Feel the coolness of the air that greets you outside. Notice how every ordinary thing is quietly extraordinary when met without the filter of hurry or judgment. You don't need to hold on to peace. You simply need to stop resisting what's already peaceful. If the mind begins to spin again, as it inevitably will, do not scold it. Minds think the way hearts beat. Thinking is not your enemy. Only the belief that you are your thoughts creates suffering. When the chatter grows loud, remember, you have learned to sit beneath it. You have learned to listen without getting lost. You can close your eyes for a single breath and feel the world settle around you again. That small pause is the gate back to presence, and it never locks. Feel the body as it is right now. Maybe the spine is softened. Maybe the breath moves a little easier. Maybe the heart feels a shade lighter. Or maybe it feels exactly the same. That's okay. The goal was never to become someone else. The goal was to meet yourself fully, exactly as you are. Even your restlessness, your doubts, your wandering mind, all of it belongs. In Zen, there is no exile. Everything is part of the path. Let your awareness rest on gratitude, not the loud, ceremonial kind, but the quiet gratitude that hums underneath life when you stop long enough to hear it. Gratitude for breath that happens without asking. Gratitude for the body that holds you upright through every season of your life. Gratitude for the unseen countless things, air, warmth, food, the vast web of people and places that make this moment possible. Even the challenges, the sorrows, the unanswerable questions, bow to them too. They carve space for awakening. As the minutes pass, you may notice a softness around the edges of thought, a faint glow of calm that wasn't there before. Let it spread naturally without trying to capture it. The more you chase peace, the more it hides. The more you simply allow, the more it reveals itself. Think of the moon's reflection on water. Disturb the surface, and it scatters. Let the surface still, and the reflection appears by itself. Remember that every time you return to your breath, you're returning to the universe's oldest rhythm, the same rhythm that moves oceans and trees and stars. You and the wind are breathing together. You and the world are not separate. Every inhale is a meeting, every exhale a release. When you truly understand this, loneliness begins to dissolve into a sense of belonging so vast it can hold everything. Carry that knowing into your days when someone speaks to you. Listen as you listen to silence, with full presence without rushing to reply. When you eat, chew as though it were your first meal on earth. When you walk, let each step announce your gratitude for the ground beneath you. And when night comes and the mind starts to race again, don't fight the tide. Sit by the edge of your own thoughts the way you would sit by a river, watching, not clinging, trusting that flow always leads back to stillness. If life feels overwhelming tomorrow, remember this. Peace does not depend on perfect circumstances. Peace depends on where you stand inside yourself. Even in the noise there is silence. Even in the chaos there is a still point. Close your eyes, breathe once and find it again. The doorway is always in the next breath, never far, never lost. As we part ways for now, feel one more long exhale. Let it sweep through your whole body from crown to feet. Let the shoulders drop, the chest open, the face soften. Let the weight of the day fall away like leaves in autumn. There's nothing left to achieve, nothing left to fix, nothing left to prove. You have already arrived. The mind may start again tomorrow, with its worries, its lists, its endless rehearsals. But now, you know how to meet it, with patience, with softness, with breath. When the mind runs, you can walk beside it instead of chasing after it. When the storm rises, you can watch it from the shore. That is the quiet power Zen gives you, not to control life, but to bow to it with clarity and peace. So, as this 3-hour journey of mindfulness, breath and presence comes to its end, bow gently to yourself. You showed up. You stayed. You breathed. You listened. You remembered that stillness is not something to find, but something you already are. Let the bell of your own heartbeat be your guide as you move through the hours ahead. Thank you for walking this path, for letting the sound of your breath become a teacher, for allowing silence to speak its language, for trusting that even when the mind won't stop, the heart knows how to rest. When you open your eyes, do it slowly, as if the world were being born anew, because in a way, it is. Every morning, every breath, every moment is the beginning of another chance to awaken. May you carry this peace wherever you go. May your thoughts learn to rest like leaves on water. May your heart remember that the stillness you seek is the stillness you are. And may you never forget, even in the noise, that you have always been home.